accountant, so you may be more organized than me. But yeah, I always throw all my papers together. I'm like, you know, this is starting to catch up to me. Yeah, it's the same thing. Like, I'm super organized via computer in my work, but like, yeah, when it's like, oh, I'll throw this bill on top, and it's like, okay, now I can put it in this pile, and then I forget about it, and I'm like, wow, this is just a pile of paper here. I have no idea what is what.
That's so much bad.
Ugh. Get on the magic school bus.
That show slapped.
The magic school bus slapped. Miss Frizzle getting children in near-death experiences on a daily basis.
Correct.
I need to make a donation pile. I didn't realize you get your clothes from Goodwill. Ugh. What where's your costume? I was like, you're dressing up as something. I don't like that.
Were you trying to pop some tags with only $20 in your pocket?
And what was your character / costume?
Why, Bob? Why did you post that?
Because I just want to feel your love. Right?
Don't pick this up for me. Bye. How many Aliens and Predator movies are there? For a movie marathon of all those?
No?
No.
Because the alien gets subjugated as it's trying to create more mates for that immediate planet, and they get blown up and killed by the Predator. Oh, that's what you meant.
The alien.
That's what you meant.
Technically, no. The alien loses in Predator 1. In fact, he's a sore loser.
Yeah, but one of them we let live here for more than 5 days. One of them actually befriends the human.
Yeah, AVP1.
Spy.
Yep, and once they befriend the human, it goes downhill from there.
If you ever want to call an alien, then it'd be a predator.
That's such terrible context, actually.
Why? Why?
Well, because there's only one thing worse than a predator.
I can't say. All right, moving on. God damn it.
Someone had to do it. I'm sorry.
You had to do it. And I didn't want to go there, but you had to go there. What the fuck, man?
So Predator Badlands comes out here shortly, and I figured we'd watch all the aliens and predators beforehand.
Yeah, November.
Well, when you
I
say
really want to do that.
like AVP 1 and 2 or whatever, how many? Or are you talking about like the individuals themselves, like Alien?
Oh,
Individual.
everything from 90 or 79 Alien all the way up to Prey.
There was a 79 Alien.
Yeah, that's when Alien
Yes,
came
the
out.
very first one.
Yeah,
the very first one.
1979.
I never knew it
1979.
went that far back.
Yes. Then you have.
You think the computer systems are looking retro? No, that was modern for the time.
If the original, then you have the second one, right? That was vastly still vastly
Aliens.
different. Then you have aliens, and then you have Alien
86.
Cubed. Then you have Alien Cubed.
Which, the worst of them.
Wait, Alien
The
Cube?
worst of them. Yeah, the thing is,
Yeah.
the free is like looks like a cube, like it's
Then we have Resurrection, which was bad but corny good.
But I don't know. Alien 3 was.
Alien 3 was the prison planet.
Yeah, like no, I'm thinking like that thing had such a troubled fucking production. It's like no surprise it came out like that.
So, Cat, instead of the Underdark, do you want to go to the prison planet?
Prison Planet. Be careful. Yeah, but not like that.
You might need to ration your water, make some still suits. Watch out for giant worms.
Nah.
I don't, but I like torturing them too.
I hate sand.
Of course, rough and gets everywhere.
I'm kind of upset. What's the difference?
What do you mean?
You're gonna get death spirals anyway.
Yeah, but you have a better chance of surviving in Florida than the desert.
Do you though?
Yes, because the jungle has all your necessities there. Granted, a lot of them are trying to kill you.
And the desert has
desert
nothing
has
for you.
no-
Everything
desert
tries to
doesn't
kill you. The desert has no necessities and tries to kill you.
But it has the bare necessity. Simple bare necessity.
Oh,
Not even
Disney's
that.
going to copyright his channel now. Good going, Bob.
Goddamn Bobby.
That's the
That's
best
such
thing
bullshit.
That's the
That's
best thing
a
I could have
bullshit.
demonetized Cat with.
That's still bullshit, man. It's like that they can't fucking like
Actually, no,
someone
second.
humming or singing along something.
Second
like
best
stupid.
thing. The intro to Robin Hood would have been the best thing.
Men in Tights?
No.
It's Robin Hood. Okay, has more.
I still want to know what you came dressed as that Halloween cat.
Which means he probably dressed up like a 50s Stepford wife. So sundress, the bonnet, little white apron, all of it.
You're going to have to ask your parents. Oh, God.
Funky wording. Parent sanctioned. Goodbye.
Good luck.
Who was that?
Who was that?
では前に出ます
Hello, everybody. Done. I hate today. Does everybody else hate today too? Today sucked. Because today was Monday. Okay. Think I got it. Let me grab you guys today's sauce and we are good to go. How's first day back to work? Honestly, it wasn't too bad. I think people knew not to bother me too much. I was still busy. I had several things I had to deal with, but they knew. Okay. I'm getting a warning on the YouTube side. Everything okay with you guys over there? Booba jump scare on my timeline? Hey. I tried my best, okay? If I'm gonna scare you, it's best to scare you with boobs. Wait a minute. Something tells me the bot is not working. Because I see people wishing me a good night. Everything seems fine? Okay. Be nice to Fox tomorrow? Listen. I don't know. How deep do y'all think I should go tomorrow? Okay, I think the bot's back online. Woof. It does not like that transition. I gotta look into that. Hello, everybody. How's it going today? Here is today's artwork. Go give the artist some love. Also, if you guys have not already, go check out on Discord. We linked Tutu's video that she put out of the collab from yesterday. Why did the bot ping Discord like 3 times? That's kind of wild, not gonna lie. I'm glad that the bot doesn't actually have the power to ping. Let me delete some of these. Because that would have been catastrophic. Okay. Just passed the 1400 Zankorts mark on JP. Nice. Not doing bad. I am up to the time gate on both accounts that are playing NA. I consider myself to be very lucky that I am. Although I'm sure that the time gate will relax tomorrow, so then I'll just have to read even more. I'm not caught up all the way with reading, but I have started to read some of the story. It's pretty good so far. I'm enjoying it. Definitely a ton of Arttoria, and that's like basically the big attraction for me at that point. Okay, I had to make sure it loaded there. NP2 of each at least. Don't say of each at least. That's the problem with it, right? Like, I'd like again like NP5 of the 4 stars at least from the second banner, but I don't know how that's gonna go. Like, I might not get a Mel based off of how everything worked for the prior banner. You know what? Let's just do that, and I'll have the 10% that I can divide if I need. Chat, what am I listening to? And I have to skip this. It's just terrible. I get that it's a meme video, but it just sounds terrible. Cinema is what you're listening to? No. I just entered the Night Woods, yes. It was a shitty meme. I just got a 4th Castoria this morning from the single. Nice. Probably getting nothing for the Mel banner. I mean, you'd be surprised. Sometimes the game is really streaky. Sometimes it doesn't look like it's going to give you anything, and other times it does, right? Yeah, we have the collab with Fox tomorrow. Like I said, we did the collab with Tutu on Friday. We also did the collab with Ventos last week. Or sorry, the week before that, I think. So we've been doing a ton of collabs. I have fun with them. I'm enjoying it. So I hope you guys are at least enjoying getting to see some other content creators and stuff. I haven't done a lot of that in the past, and I've tried to be as transparent as possible as to why. Usually a big chunk of the why I don't necessarily collab with people is if I'm not sure they're a good fit for the community. Same thing if, like, I feel like I maybe don't know the person enough, I won't necessarily collab with them. But that being said, like, to anybody that is interested in collaborating with me, I am always down, I'm always open. I just am notoriously difficult to make a collab work with due to my schedule and timing, but it's not like I will just say no just to say no. I'm a firm believer of expecting the worst, so you can only be surprised, but I know most people aren't like that. I totally understand. Nasu collab win. That'd be awesome, right? So I told chat. Well, actually, I told VIP. I didn't tell chat, but I would like to ask chat a question. I will give you guys the full 3 minutes, and I am asking Twitch chat in particular that poll. I guess I could ask YouTube chat, but then I'd have to do a completely separate poll and add the two results together. So forgive me, YouTube. I am just asking them which should the new player account roll for out of the two existing banners currently. To me, I feel like the new player account is in an interesting spot. I'm usually a huge proponent of going after the sort of, how should I put it? That's the better way to do it. Going after the sort of like meta supports first, but Arttoria Berserker is an exceptionally strong unit, and she's functionally a Swiss Army knife for me at this point. Wait, that doesn't seem right. Did I just hear a follow notification, chat? Onisama, thank you for the 2 years. Appreciate it. Chat, can we get some love? I just sworn I heard a follower notification. There we go. Viewer 1111111111111. Thank you for the follow. Did I hear about the Iron Mouse situation? I just saw that before I went live, which I can't speak to the validity of anything like that, but if that's true, like, oh crap, dude, like VShojo is gonna tank from that. That is not a good thing. Yeah, I am curious to hear what chat thinks. What chat thinks will not influence my decision, though. But I'm curious because I'd like to know how people feel about the two and what, like, kind of people think would be stronger for the account. Hello, Angora. First I heard about it, yeah, that's wild if that's actually true. Like, I did say this. I haven't, like, read anything on it or seen anything on it other than the initial Twitter post, right? But I suspect it's not actually embezzlement that's occurring, and instead it's just they owe money, which you could argue is embezzlement, but not by the legal definition, okay? It's like, oh, if they squirreled the money away and like used it on something different instead of paying the people that they needed to pay, like, yeah, I mean, you can make an argument that it's embezzlement. But also at the same time, if it's just like, hey, they don't have the funds and they haven't paid up, that's not embezzlement. So, without knowing more, I can't like say whether or not it actually is embezzlement or not. God darn it. We just leveled up on an A chat. Which is wild because I don't level up very often at all. Okay, so chat overwhelmingly chose Oberon at 78%. Total of about, looked like 65, 70-ish votes. And I think I know what I want to do. I think. But I am not fully okay with this situation. Sorry, speaking specifically about roles here, not the Iron Man stuff. I'm not fully okay with the situation in the stance that, like, I know that this is a, like, difficult thing, and no matter what I do, there is probably a like, negative outset. A negative, offset, not outset. Thank you, Pion. Appreciate the 22. Jack, can we get some love for Pion as well? You've taught us well on rolling priorities. We'll see. This is going to be a third account. I'm not sure I'm going to keep the account permanently. But I started it out as a sort of like new player, like walk along. You guys can play along, kind of figure things out as well, see how I handle things and do similar stuff. Obviously, where the account will differ from like just about everybody else is with regards to roles, because if I roll on certain banners, I will or I won't get certain units. A different player following along might get that unit. They might not get that unit. So it's difficult. And as a result, I can't say that somebody's going to be able to do the exact same thing as me. I'm just going to have to say that they're going to be able to see how I handled it, and I will do my best in any of these scenarios to talk about it and try to like walk people through what my thought process is and why. We're going to support the talent, not the company. Yeah, I mean, streaming and entertainment in general is kind of a fucked up industry, right? Because you have naturally, like, there's all sorts of things where it's like, none of what they're doing would be possible without the company, in theory, right? And then people will be like, oh no, CAD, they can still do it as indie. It's like, yes, I'm aware, but like what a lot of the time gets them that big like notoriety and claim to fame is the company. To me, it's almost a similar but like inverse situation of like, you know, follow the streamer and not the game. And I can't say I disagree. It's like the talent is usually who you guys actually care for. It's who you guys should be interested in watching. It's their personality. It's their like approach to things that should be why you find them entertaining and why you continue to come back. So I can't argue with it. Doubly so when a company does something bad, right? But at the same time, I can also sit there and say like, yes, I totally understand a like a desire maybe to take a slow approach and not just like assume even that the company is in the wrong. Not okay, this is gonna sound really bad because like in this particular situation it probably is the company, okay, but there have been numerous situations that have happened over the past couple of years here where it's like I usually don't jump to a conclusion until I know more, and Twitter is not knowing more, chat. I can't express that enough, that anybody can go out there that can make a Twitter post and things can be misconstrued, things can be not given proper context. So usually I just take the like, hey, I kind of withhold judgment until I know more. It's the if true, like you're innocent until proven guilty type thing. And I usually extend that in almost every circumstance of like one of these big dramatic situations anyways. Big chungus, yeah. But yeah, it's like it's tough. Because I also understand it's like people like VShojo. People I think thought that like VShojo was probably, at least like some of you, I'm sure not all of you, but I'm sure some people thought that VShojo was like the better alternative to like Niji Sanji and even to a degree Hololive, where they're far more like how should I put it, like everything is curated type deal. VShojo was way more like, hey, let's just let the talent do the things. But yeah, I think this may also be a little bit why. It's like if they actually were embezzling, perhaps that's why they let their talent have such a long leash. It's just go out and make us money so we can steal it, right? But I really don't know. Like I said, I'm not aware of more of the facts or circumstances here. But in general, like I said, I take a wait and see type of approach. Massey also said they pressured her with a "you're what keeps us afloat, we need you." So that was bad for her mentality wise. I don't think they're wrong. I think Iron Mouse leaving VShojo kills VShojo. Because to me, those two things were pretty synonymous. Iron Mouse, at least to my understanding, was like one of the founding people. She's who literally brought so many of the talent in to VShojo and recruited them. So if she leaves, I cannot fathom VShojo without her. And at that point, to me, it just becomes a name next to, you know, a talent's like, God damn it, I pressed the wrong button. A name next to a talent's, or like a team name next to a talent's name, right? It's like I guess it just becomes hollow at that point. Like you're just watching the talent because you like the talent. Because I think I was mentioning in VIP, and VIP was like, oh yeah, they still have K-Son and Project Melody and stuff. So it's like if you're watching one of them, it doesn't take anything away from them necessarily. But it is what it is. Does Cat even internet right? No, this is entirely my problem. Because I don't do knee-jerk reactions, I'm not controversial. And because I'm not controversial, people don't like me. And then I guess the only controversial things I say are when I like call out people's stupid controversial takes. And then that makes people not like me even more. So it is what it is. And Fruit tweeted she was coming back too. What wasn't Fruit one of the ones that had like all sorts of drama and controversy herself? She put VShojo on the map, yeah. Yeah, I just in general, like with this stuff, it's like let's wait and see. Because I also feel like there's points where, look, Cat, I'm gonna say this. Please don't take it as an insult to Iron Mouse or anything like that. But we have seen talent before come out and allege things that were far more incendiary than they actually were, as a means of like hey, I'm just trying to get out. Same thing happens with streamers too, with like stream teams and like sponsors and stuff like that, where like they'll sit there and they'll like basically like go like, oh man, this person did this to me, like I'm not working with them anymore. And it's like comes out, it's like it was just a minor disagreement, but the streamer has to make a big deal out of it so that like something negative doesn't happen. I'm not gonna say that that's Iron Mouse doing this, but this is one of those reasons why you just like try to like say, okay, let's wait for like more news to actually come out, get some proper details on the issue, see what we can figure out. And also keep in mind, both sides are going to try to spin it. Both sides. Okay. This happens just naturally in any of these situations. I'm sorry again. I just had to mean tweet. No, it's all good. All good. It's exactly what I was thinking of when you like what you posted is basically what was in my mind when I responded to that person. Always PR battle. Yeah, this is the unfortunate side of being a streamer. I hate it. Like that being a streamer is so fun, like being live and doing stuff. The dumb part is like having to tightrope walk perceptions and like stupid like interpersonal relationship politics and stuff like that. It's like nobody wants to do that shit as far as I'm concerned. Maybe some people do. Maybe some people thrive on that. But like for me, I hate it. It's like the worst part of being a streamer is having to deal with all that crap. What is VShojo? I thought you were saying BShojo. No, yeah. VShojo is basically a VTuber like talent group. They were like I said, similar to like Niji Sanji or Hololive. They're one that's primarily located here on Twitch, and they were one of the biggest ones, and like really just had gotten a lot of like talent from like former Hololivers and stuff like that. So like there were some big names in VShojo. But over the past, I'd say like year or two here, VShojo's kind of lost a lot of that for various reasons. Some of it like interpersonal drama, some of it like alleging that the company just wasn't good to work for, and then like now we have this where Iron Mouse, who is one of their biggest people, is basically alleging that the company is embezzling not just from her, but also from an immune deficiency fund that they owe money to the tune of $500,000. So it's a pretty serious allegation. And that's why, like, to me, I'm just like, whoa, if that's true, that's really bad, right? And VShojo deserves what's coming to them at that point. But I will wait and see in general, just as I do in most of these circumstances. It's like, until you actually see, like, definitive proof, or until other people come out and are like, hey, yeah, they owe us money too, like, that's usually where I'll say, like, okay, let's wait and see, right? Let's ask Cad the real question. Cad, what is your favorite Arttoria fan art? Ooh. Of like all time? And specifically fan art, right? So like not a Takeuchi piece. Man. I can tell you who my favorite artist is. My specifically favorite art, though, is probably not by that artist. Let's see if I can find it. I don't know why you thought you'd have an instant answer to that question. Okay, you realize that for like my 6+ years of streaming, I have been doing art of the day every single day, right? And you realize that there are like I'd wager it's like a 99% Arttoria rate for what my art of the day is. So asking me specifically for my favorite, that is not an easy question to answer. I can't put it any other way. Let me see if I have it saved, because I probably do. Like, chat, it's so much of a thing that like if I try to load the Arttoria folder of images that I have on my computer, it does not load quickly. Like, I have to let it load for a good 30+ seconds before it actually pops in. Yeah, there it is. I'm just gonna change today's art of the day real fast because that's what does it. But I don't know what it is about this piece, but this piece always just struck me as like really freaking beautiful. Also, I would have different answers depending on what you asked, but since you asked specifically fan art, I'm gonna go with this. But yeah, chat, this piece. Still just one of my favorites. They got so much of this right, both from like, just like she's got like a badass expression. It's her heroic spirit portrait outfit. They also like, there's so much small detail here that most people probably can't appreciate it, and that's like one of the things that I just think is really fucking good about it. Okay, so just trying to like show chat like it. I can't even really fit it all on screen, but yeah, that is one of, if not my favorite art pieces. So it's like when you ask me, that is usually one of the ones that comes to mind. But admittedly, yeah, like it's a tough question. I've probably used thousands of art pieces on the channel now at this point. I don't necessarily have an easy go-to answer. It's really good, but so many draw her with blue eyes. So this is really funny to me because I purposely made Aurelia have blue eyes to differentiate her from Arttoria, and it doesn't work. And so many people just assume Aurelia is Arttoria because so many artists just draw Arttoria with blue eyes. It is a thing. I don't know why, but it's really, really funny to me because it's like, yeah, I definitely made Aurelia different in a couple of key ways, and it's still just, it's so similar that everyone just assumes they're the same. Looks to the left of the screen. I think she might have green eyes. What could you mean? But yeah, God, like if you ask me like craft essence, I'd have a different answer. If you ask me official art, I'd have a different answer. Like there's so many good Arttoria art pieces. It feels like heresy to pick one. And so that's why I've just like I have a difficult time anytime you ask me something like that. Cad, how deep is the folder you can't show us? I can't show it to you because I would have to like literally like I guess I'd have to like let you guys see the stream computer, which I could do, but that's really weird. But how big is it? I mean, this is just the saved artworks I've used on stream, and I don't even think this goes back throughout all of like time. I think this is just like probably like the most recent like 4 or 5 years. But as to like how big is the folder? If it's to be believed, it is still less than a gig. But I don't store things like PSDs and other stuff that would bloat it, so. Like, for instance. Yeah, it's my actual Aurelia folder is bigger than it because I have like all of the original versions of all of my art pieces, as opposed to which are much higher scale, much higher definition, including some PSDs and stuff in there. That my Aurelia folder is 2 gigs alone, and that's just commissioned artwork. Just. It's not including like stream assets and stuff like Aurelia. That's a shame seeing the artist nuke their Pixiv art. Oh, the one I just showed people? Wow. Yeah, again, the whole like AI thing had a lot of like artists get off Pixiv. There's still a ton that have like come back and like been a thing, but yeah, there's a ton of like lost art now. And it to a degree, it's like it is one of the reasons why I'm like saving the artwork myself, because who knows, there may come a day where like a Dan Boru or something just gets taken down, and I have like the only copies of certain art pieces. So the tweet of the image is still up. Perfect. Yeah, dude, and I can't stress this enough. Okay, this thing did 55K on Twitter pre-COVID. This is a monster of an art piece, if that's true. Like, that art piece did so much work. Yeah, I'll have to use it again. I haven't used it on stream in a hot second. Some of the older art pieces do make a second circulation because a lot of people that are on stream either just don't remember or they weren't around. So I do occasionally recycle art pieces on the channel. But for the most part, there is so much Arttoria artwork. I could have a unique piece for every single day and never run out, probably until the end of my life. Would they all be of like the quality and like amount that I would like desire? Probably not, but I could very easily find enough artwork. And you know, I think the one good thing to come out of the HSR collab is that I have a ton of new Arttoria art from a bunch of ex-FGO artists that clearly just go around and draw whatever the hot gacha game of the month is. So in that regard, worked out perfectly fine for me. Chat, we also hit Bond 14 on Arttoria on JP, and we are at almost Bond 10 on Lalter here on JP. Is there a reason to use the event shop CE if you rolled the banner and got a lot of the drop Cs? So there are 2 event shop Cs. The first is the Dojin CE, And the way to understand this is the one that has charge. And this is basically your damage CE. Okay. The second CE is your I'm just going to call it the delivery CE. This is what has your Dojin circle drops. You do need to use this. Unless you want to sit there like grinding on a node. So this is the one you actually want to do. It doesn't have charge. It doesn't have like damage bonus. So that's the one you actually want. And right now I'm running like I have MLBs of all the Cs, so I'm running like 3 of the MLBs and 3 of the Dojin ones. Sorry, 3 of the like Dojin delivery Cs. But to be honest, I could probably run more of the Dojin delivery Cs because you're going to end up getting to like the end node. And the end node will be like where all of your efficiency comes from. And usually by that point, you're going to be kind of like done with your Dojin stuff. So you probably don't need it too much. Do you get part of the damage bonus for the dungeon even without it? Or do you get it with it? What do you mean? Like there are units like that are summer units and they do get damage bonus regardless. But so like there are event bonus units, but there's also a craft essence that can just give anybody event bonus damage. So they're just 2 separate sources and they can be combined. They are both power mods though. That helps. I'm trying to be as specific as possible because that's a little spicy. I know, especially for newer players, like understanding some of these concepts is a little oof, right? Cat, I had to pity Castoria Berserker was really disappointing because now I have to cut my losses for an MP5. I need to save for Kenshin. I will aim for Arttoria in 2 years with the Grand Berserker banner. Yeah. Yeah, it happens. Again, this is why we tell people to save, so that like at least you can hit the pity, you can ensure that you still get the unit. But yeah, it sucks. I'm sorry to hear that, Cody. It does happen though. Like the card type bonuses the different Dojin sections give. These, to my knowledge, no, these are separate. From the CE effect, which has its own scaling mechanic. But someone can correct me if I'm wrong. My understanding is that they're different. Those card bonuses only count if you equip the Trunk Sister C? Are you sure? Because, hold on. Like, I might be wrong on this, so I Okay, you're right. You're right. It is. Okay. Because, yeah, I was sitting there and, like, I remembered the Quick Arts and Buster. I did not remember that it had the additional effects. Because I was like, no, I'm pretty sure it's just Quick Arts and Buster. So that's what I was getting wrong in my head. So, yeah, it does have all the effects. So, yes, it does. It at least scales with the circle level. I don't know if the circle level is specific to it. Like, that is to say, you only get the effect of it. But yeah, I mean, probably. Yeah, that seems to be what it's indicating. I thought they were detached, but it's not. So this does feed the CE. Thank you. Yeah, no, it's all good. Glad I know that too now. Because that means I just don't care about any of this. sometimes they like there isn't a C attached to something like this, and so you just get it. But for me, I've played too many of these events, and I assume things, and it gets me in trouble sometimes. Bound to happen. Yeah, I mean, look. I'm not gonna feel bad about my rolls, right? Like I got Castoria Berserker NP5 and 361 courts. That is fucking absurd. Absolutely insane. Ridiculously good luck. I also spent 3k plus courts twice this year on 2 other NP5s. So, well, yes, this is good. Nobody can really guilt trip me because of that. So it's like, good luck happens, bad luck happens. It sucks, and I don't wish it on anyone. It is what it is. Yep. That's like my cuckoo luck. That was my cuckoo luck. Cuckoo was one of those 3Ks. The other one was I rolled for Jarcher on JP because I didn't have her for the longest time, and that one also bit me in the ass. I would never guilt trip anybody over good luck. The only time I would is if they're being a real asshat about it and they're just like trying to rub everyone's face in it. It is what it is. Like, I say this, and I said it a lot during the collab stream, but it's like, when you've been around the block as much as I have, when you've rolled as much as I have, you really just, you're used to it after a point. This is why, like, you guys don't get such, like, absurd reactions from me a lot, because I have seen it all before. That being said, that still was so exceptionally lucky. It's like, it's difficult for me to even quantify. All I can tell you is that in, like, again, 6+ years of rolling, that was my luckiest NP5. So let that sink in. I have rolled for years. I have acquired most of the game's units. Not every single unit in P5, but I have, God, probably over like 100 NP5s at this point. So for one of them to just stroll along and be not just like barely the cheapest, like that was my cheapest chat by like 180 quarts ish, like just disgusting numbers. So it's like, yeah, I can appreciate it. That does not happen every day. Haji, thank you for the follow. And I think for someone like me, for someone like me, like the fact that it happened on a waifu is good. I will take that every time, because I think one of the worst feelings that I have ever had in this game is trying to roll for a character I really, really want, and the game just stiff-arming me constantly. I know that feeling. I've been there. I know a lot of chat knows that feeling too. It sucks. And it's like, you just want your waifu to go smoothly. So when it does, it's like, it is a nice feeling. Didn't it equal out though? No. So Tutu, again, she revealed her video, and she of the collab just like literally like an hour ago here, and it at the end she tallies all of it. You guys will be surprised by the total number I rolled. Because she asked me, she's like, how much did you roll? And I was like, I don't know. I didn't have a like official tally because I think the mods got lax, but to be fair, I didn't count either. But like, yeah, it was not as much as I thought. It's because Tarak wasn't here? Yep. Or Avalon. Or Bob. Basically all the mods that can count. Funny that your second NP6 you rolled was the same as your first. So it's really interesting because I have actually rolled a couple of NP6s. Like I said, the only one I like purposefully like I went for the 6th copy was Castoria. And like I said, I always regretted that. I didn't feel like that was a good decision, and in retrospect, I definitely didn't need it. Okay. In some of the others cases, like I have gotten a 6th copy of Bunny and a 6th copy of Arttoria and a 6th copy of Castoria Berserker. And I can explain each of these. Bunny was the exact same situation as Arttoria. Bunny was my prior cheapest SSR to NP5. And she showed up before I had like any of the 4 stars. So I had to keep rolling. And that's exactly how I got a 6th copy. Arttoria. Arttoria, I snuck that 6th copy in, and chat didn't expect it. Because I did not roll for a 6th copy of Arttoria. I used an SSR ticket on Arttoria. And that one, I'm like, well, it's like at least I didn't roll for it. I didn't give them money, right? But yeah, that one I absolutely like just was like, yeah, I don't really I think the debate was between Arttoria and another copy of Tamamo, of which at the time I already had NP2 Tamamo, so I was like, I'm good. Like there really was like nobody else to really use the ticket on. It was going to be a greed ticket pick regardless of what I did. So I just said, fuck it, let's perfect my Arttoria. And I did it. Yep. And that literally was the only reason why. So those are the only 3 that I've actually like rolled for the 6th copy. I certainly have gotten 6 copies of like OG Arttoria and stuff where it's like they're permanent and they just spook me. But beyond that, those are really the only 3 that have ever happened. And like I said, Castoria was the one that I actually went after, and I regret that one. I really wish I hadn't. Cad, do you roll for every character on an A? No. I'm a bit of a pragmatist when it comes to this stuff. For me to not roll a character, 2 things must be true. The first, I'm not going to say they're not good, but they're not necessary for my account. Now we can like debate over what necessity means. But this basically just means I don't have any use. Even the use that they would have is redundant with several other units I have, probably. The second thing, and this is usually what will just make me not roll, is I just don't care for the character. If I don't care for the character and I don't need the character, I don't roll. Doesn't mean I hate the character, but it doesn't mean I like the character enough to roll them. So, that makes any sense? Yeah, I also have NP6 of Summer Abbey, correct. That one was, to my defense, I believe that one was a double. But that was also just like, that was a cursed roll session. Summer is always cursed roll sessions in some way, shape, or form. They find a way, chat. Hey, what's up, Wukong? He doesn't have silly characters like Ilya and Saber Astolfo. True, I do not have either of them. I also don't care for either character enough to roll them. Doesn't mean that they're not like useful characters. Doesn't mean that like I hate the character in either way. I just go like, yeah, I don't really need it. Ruler Melu is tomorrow, chat. I believe she comes out at midnight tonight. And I already talked with Fox. Both of us are doing our collab for the rolls tomorrow, so. Did you save your Stormpod CAD? I thought I did, but I think based off the number on the screen being 0, that I must have accidentally turned it back on. Because I do remember turning it off. So at some point I turned it back on, and I'm not sure why. Damn it. Yeah, that was my plan, was to be smart, but oh well. Yeah, we are about to... God, I'm trying to click the screen. We are about to lose the Stormpod less variant of these. So, chat, you will have to start doing them naturally in the next like day. Which again, I've gotten 70 clears. Like, I'm not like other people. I don't just degen farm these. These are good, but they're not like... They're not so good. I just want to like blow my entire load of apples on. I do think to some degree people overstate like the value of these. This one in particular had a new material in it, so there's definitely value in that. But like in general, yeah, I just said like, okay, it is what it is. I don't really need to like care too much about it. What is interesting is that this is also somehow still part of the weekly target, it looks like. I need 30, or I need 40 kills of something there. And I'm gonna guess that's FP rolls. Are they good for bond farming? Yeah. Yeah. I think that's why a lot of people do them, is it's just a, like, it's a means to an end. Don't get me wrong, some people just really need the statues and monuments, so I don't really blame people. Like, if you really need the statues and monuments, it's a good, like... If I hit that 100 spin, it is going to clog my inventory. We will wait. We will wait. So I'm sitting there and I'm going like, I don't know about that. Do it, CAD? No. 100 spin's great, but you have to be a little bit careful with how you use it. Also, chat, hold on. Let me restart LD player because it's been running like all day. But yeah, they're good for bond farming. To someone like me, I've been playing long enough on JP that like all of my units are leveled up. I've never done a statue lotto, so I'm not swimming in statues. But I have gotten most of my class score needs done. So I don't particularly need statues, but I also don't particularly have a lot. Like in some cases, I'm still sitting on like 50 of a given type. So I've certainly been doing them and getting statues from them as a means of like, hey, let's pump up the supply a little bit more. Because they're permanent additions as far as I can tell. They will always be there. But like beyond that, it's like, do I really want to like keep sitting there degen farming it? Some people have used it as a means to get to 180 real fast. Which there's, you know, probably value in that. You get the extra whatchamacallit slot. Or party cost slot. So like it is what it is, but for someone like me, it's like there's value there. There's just not like unlimited value. It's a very like limited value in the sense of like once I kind of like re-up my supply, it's not a big deal. So like I said, my alt account, for a while, my alt account was actually further than my main account here. But now my main account has finally caught back up. Chat, I would also like to say, I need a assassin so bad on this JP account, dude. Sorry, not JP, on this new player account. I desperately need a an assassin of some sort. So like I may break down and buy Summer Shisho. She's not a bad unit, especially not with her recent upgrade, but it's been one of those deals where I've been like kind of maybe trying not to. Level 100 NP2 or sorry, level 100 NP1 or level 90 NP2. Survey says NP2 is usually better. But this run is pretty rough on my account. Also, PSA, don't forget, put your Nocnaria in the back of your party. You do have to bond her up for the missions. You do have to take her to a certain number of nodes. So, like, don't forget about this. Just as a means of, like, finishing off your missions. Better to remember to do it sooner than later. Yeah, God, if NA had Shiki, I would be all over that. Interestingly enough, Shiki probably would have been one of my first purchases. Like, that is how good Shiki ends up being. This is not a, like, writers are particularly bad because this account is particularly caster heavy. And as a result of that, writers just kind of mess it up because my best assassin is Sethino, who I started the game with. This account certainly could do a whole lot better in that regard, but I just have taken it as a, like, all right, we're just going to have to wait for an opportunity to present itself. There's no assassin on this banner. There's no assassin on the male banner. There's no assassin on the second female banner. And even the assassins, I think, like... Don't we have one on the second male banner, chat? Isn't Tez on one of the banners? Yeah, there you go. So, like, Tez would be a really good pickup for this account. The problem that this account has way too many good things in way too short of a span. We have Castoria Berserker with really good 4 stars. We have Oberon. We have Tez. We have obviously like Banner 2. I mean, I guess it's doing it a disservice by not hyping it more because Summermel is a really good unit. But like you also have the return of all of the like Summer 7 units too. So that's Summer Scotty, Proto Merlin, and Ibuki. Like it's just dumb. It is just a dumb series of banners, and it is literally a make do with what you can make do scenario. I mean, you're not gonna kill that Nito. I can afford 2 packs easily for the rest of July. Listen, just make sure you're taking care of yourself and you're good for like your ability to like eat and buy clothes for yourself and fill your car up with gas for the like the next paycheck. I haven't used any of waiver stuff, so we're just gonna go ahead and use her. Actually, I should use the 70% card, but whatever. Let Gole. Thank you for the follow. Gamba responsibly, yeah. Has Arttoria come back on JP? Yes. To my knowledge, it's twice, chat. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe she came back once with... They did a banner for every SSR earlier this year, and then also I think she came back with the Grand Berserker banner. So I believe she has come back twice now, though both were like this year. And Doc Arc, thank you for the 10 months. Appreciate it. Chat, can we get some love for Doc? Of course, it's Todd Howard. There's also the rerun next year, if I remember correctly. Yeah, I don't remember. You'd have to check, but if that's the case, then it's 3. I'm just wondering if the game will be able to stand all the dots we will have in Annie and JP this year, all plus all rider banners. Wait, what do you mean by dots? Or am I not understanding what you're asking? I'm more looking forward to JP, Annie, and Summer at this point. Understandable. I mean, like, JP Annie's right around the corner, and it's 10th Annie. Like, NA has come. It is a known quantity. Castoria Berserker's already out. I'm not going to say that people aren't, like, hoping for Mel and stuff. I'm sure they are. It's just, like, yes, I could easily understand how people are more hype at this point for JP. Like, JP is an unknown to NA being halfway over and already a, like, complete known quantity, right? Oh, dots at the bottom of the banner screen. Okay, I got you. Hope I can get one copy of Sith. That's all I really want. Good luck. Yeah, again, you guys kind of saw it during the rolls with Tutu there, but dual rate up, low key kind of ass. That Buster card from Chris ain't doing crap. Just don't crit me to death. Okay, so Nitocris gets to her NP, and Ibuki gets closer. He wastes an attack, they waste an attack. Of course, it hits Ibuki, because why wouldn't it? And I don't have the one with a heal yet. Let's do it like that, where we stagger the cards. We still get the Mighty Chain, but basically we try to put Nitocris in a situation where she can actually pop off and kill them. Eighth Annie also wasn't as hype as other Annies on JP. I had no issue with it. I think that's one of those deals where, like, looking back, everybody always tries to make a big deal out of it. A lot of people said the same thing with, like, 7th Annie and stuff too, and it's just like, I don't really care. Like, the Annies are good. People just have a tendency to want to, like, shit on them. And I'll just again remind chat, it's like, they can always get worse. You could always get some of the Annies that some of these other games have. How's the new account fare against the summer event nodes? I mean, this is the worst node so far, because it's just writers, and writers just suck for this account. Otherwise, nothing's been too difficult so far. I think the one I was worried about was the particular, like, fiery, fluffy fight, but we didn't have to kill both break bars, so that was a non-issue. I thought I was gonna have to. And I was like, okay, this might actually get difficult for a second tier. And it's like, no, that's fine. Let's do that. That. And let's hope that's enough. Anyways, as good as any other Any people just keep pushing their expectations way up. Yeah. I guarantee you that people will be like upset with 10th Annie because people are going to have unrealistic expectations. And I'm going to say, again, I've told you guys, it's like, this is the year that if anything crazy can happen, it's probably going to happen because it's 10th Annie, right? But I've also cautioned anybody about like trying to get like specific expectations in mind. If you start sitting there trying to say like, oh yeah, like this is going to happen this year or this is going to happen, you're going to get disappointed because inevitably like one of the things you want won't happen. Can you explain to me why people dislike having Ace Ganerish being summer servants? I can at least partially, because like I kind of feel a similar way. I don't hate them. I don't like hate the unit in any way, shape, or form. But for me, at least, my gripe with how they do it is that instead of getting a like anniversary unit and then a like summer variant of said unit, you get them both combined into one, and it's like you only get half of each. So that's my argument, is that I would prefer instead to have like a full-blown summer version of like, let's say Morgan, for instance. That would have been better to me than just an anniversary / summer Morgan. That being said, like I love Ace's design. I think she's a fantastic unit. So it's like at the end of the day, it's like I wish they would have done it differently, but I don't hate it. Other people do seem to get really upset about it, though. Why? I'm not really sure. I can only assume it's something similar to like what I'm saying. Cooler units than 8th? I see. Okay. Now I have to make a choice, chat. Boy, this is not wanting to load. Okay. Chat. Now, we have multiple banners. We have Oberon, we have Castoria, we have Story, we have FP, but FP doesn't matter. I mean, it does. Like FP does matter for a new account, and that is what this account is. There's actually still things I'm missing out of the FP account. But we have these two banners. We have a third banner coming, which is Summer Mellison, who's an AoE Arts ruler. We have, and 4 stars alongside that, just as the Castoria banner does. We have a fourth banner coming, which is Tezcatlipoca, who is an AoE assassin, which they were just mentioning, like, would be really good for this account. And we have the summer rerun banners from the prior year, which include 2 meta supports and a meta berserker in Ibuki Summer, basically being a 50% charging AoE Arts berserker. I've actually been using her quite a bit this summer on some of those annoying like rider nodes that this account doesn't do too hot with. Now, I've been for a long time a huge proponent of you guys going after and getting the meta supports. Oberon is one of those. Oberon has the ability to charge one target by 50% and charge the entire party by 20%. So Oberon can be a 70% charger for one unit. That is really good. I can't stress to you enough how good that is. This is faced with Castoria Berserker being one of, if not the game's best, just Berserker in terms of single target. She is single target arts. She has 50% self-charge and 20% targetable charge, which means she is a Berserker that can give away charge, but she also can just charge herself 70%. Now, that makes it sound similar to Oberon. Oberon has a lot more utility than her in that regard. But what she has is she has solemn defense on her Noble Phantasm, similar to her caster form. It's not as strong, it doesn't scale as well, but it is a amazingly powerful party-wide protection mechanic that keeps people alive. This is on top of several niches that she has. Oberon, on the other hand, has a damage amplification niche that is second to none, basically. The only units that can outscale Oberon's amplification are usually units in extremely niche scenarios, like, oh, you're facing a node that is like anti-demonic, and there's somebody out there that can like give a demonic power mod that's somehow even stronger than Oberon's amplification. That being said, Oberon is still good in any of those situations because Oberon is sort of omni. He works in every single situation that you can imagine. The downside is the one place that Oberon really struggles with is challenge content. So that is his fallback. And the reason why is because in Oberon's case, if you cannot kill the enemy, his third skill bricks the unit that it's targeting. So they have that turn to pop off and deal insane damage, but the next turn they end up bricked and they're unusable. They can't even be rotated out of the party. They can't be properly killed. So there's nothing you can really do. You just have to wait until they die. Oberon is the game's only 70% meta support. Every other meta support is a 50% charger. That is a high bar, and that makes this decision between these two exceedingly difficult. There is the possibility of choosing one of these other banners here. And the entire reason why I'm talking with you guys on this is so that you guys can understand not only my choice, but what some of the other choices are and why I'm making them, and where some of the other choices might be good. Okay? Some of those other banners are still really, really good due to just who is on Radar. If you are a new player account, you're following along with the series, and you get to this point and you see me deliberating so hard here, understand, you might not have these same banners available to you. You might not have the same choice or the same luck as me. That is perfectly fine. This is why I'm talking about it with you, so that you guys can understand why I'm making the choices and hopefully pick up on some of that mentality. Tezcatlipoca is an exceedingly good AoE assassin, arguably the game's best. There are a couple other competitors, but one of the things that he does really well is party support, as well as just in general being a decent unit himself. There are really good welfares that can fill a similar role, but they won't have the same party utility that Tez would have. Similarly, that summer return banner for the prior summer has a triple stack of banners that is just ridiculous from about every stretch of the imagination. Particularly that Ibuki one would be really nice because I could get my hands on Ibuki and I could get my hands on a really good single target 4-star Avenger, which is what's her face? Summer Heiress. Now, in that case, though, that's a little bit greed, and that would be me willingly giving up a chance to roll some of these meta supports. Now, you may be wondering, why the meta support? Why does this matter so much? Because a big compositional thing in FGO is having enough brute force charge or refundability to get a unit to loop. Looping is sort of the meta strat throughout FGO. Looping is, hey, we're going to make one unit fire off their NP multiple times in a row. This is done both for convenience and as a like scaling mechanism to make farming efficient and you not having to necessarily like roll every unit under the sun. So instead of having to have 3 different units to take out 3 different waves, you have 1 unit to take out 3 waves. This works out really well for a lot of accounts. And this is that concept that I've talked about of having a carry on your account. Meta supports help facilitate that because they increase the charge and the ability for a unit to get back to another Noble Phantasm. This is why we started the game with Waver. Waver himself being a 50% charging support. Waver is arguably one of the weaker meta supports in the game, but he is still meta. He is still somebody that can work in that situation. And I've told people, usually I demarcate an account by the amount of 50% chargers that it has. At 1, that account is still going to be inefficient at doing a whole lot of nodes. At 2, that account can start looping depending on the characters that it has and can set up a lot of good, efficient clears. At 3, you become able to brute force most 3 turns in the game. So you really want to get to a point where you have at least 2 50% chargers, if not 3. This means going after someone like Oberon, or in the Summer Rerun banner there, Summer Scotty, who is also a 50% charging support. Really lucrative for this account. I have the possibility to secure 3 meta supports here very quickly and rapidly, and most accounts are not going to have this opportunity. That being said, most accounts are not going to have that opportunity. So, to me, I'm not going to say I won't do it, but I feel like it's fair to me if I don't try to roll all 3. Or sorry, fair to you, not to me. Fair to you to roll, not to roll all 3 of them at once here. So as a result, we'll just have to see. It'll depend on luck. I have a lot of courts, but I don't have a whole lot. I don't even have enough technically to hit pity. If I convert all of my quartz fragments here, you guys can see I end up with 633 plus my 25 tickets. You can consider tickets a single pull, so they are functionally 3 quartz each. We can take this 25, we can multiply that by 3. That's a good 75 quartz for us right there. If we added that to our 633, it'd be just over 700 quartz. That's good, but the actual amount that we need to get to pity in FGO is 900. That is a lot. And that is one of the higher pities in gacha games currently. Amongst the old guard, this would have actually been a pretty normal pity number. It's 300 rolls basically to get to pity, because each multi that you do becomes an 11 spin. So it's the true number is actually 330 rolls, but because each number has an additional like each multi of 10 has an additional roll stacked on, that means every multi is actually 11 instead of 10. So that 330 becomes 300 instead. So assuming you're doing things right, that should be the actual pity for most of you. But so again, amongst old guard gacha games, 300 is a pretty normal number. It's actually not that absurd. A lot of people want to make it out to be. I understand why. A lot of other gacha games are pretty generous with regards to how low they set pity. They have a tendency to get you in other ways, particularly like changing rates or other monetization schemes that the game may have. FGO doesn't have those. FGO is just very straightforward. What you roll for is what you may potentially get. And if you hit pity, you will get the unit. There's no, changing of anything like that. There's no like 50-50 or anything. You're just either going to get the unit or you're not at the end of the day, because you either made it to pity or you didn't. And in FGO, usually you will not hit pity. You will get the unit far before pity in most cases. The average for a rate up SSR is somewhere around like 400, 420 quartz, maybe a little bit less depending on how you want to look at things. So at the end of the day, I'm going to tell you just for perspective those numbers so that you can understand. But the game is very generous in how it gives out quartz. You can get it quite frequently from playing the game. So I could very easily over the course of this event still accumulate even more quartz for this account to help it out and maybe do more rolls. but it's dangerous rolling without the ability to get to pity. The good news is, because this account is so early on, again, like I've said before, just about anything I can pull here is good. The other consideration that I maybe want to point out is, again, maybe some of these 4-stars. Of them in particular, Tristan here in the background, we do need a good single target archer, and Tristan is somebody that could really work in that niche. The problem is we're probably only going to get like 1 or 2 copies of him at best, so we're not going to have a particularly strong Tristan. But Tristan is a 50% charger. Tristan does have some party-wide survivability with his Harp of Healing that allows us to dodge, but at the end of the day, this is just one of the considerations. And realistically speaking, Gawain and Lancelot here are not bad units either. This is just thinking about it from a strategic standpoint of this new account. Now, if we wait a little bit, though, Tristan would actually become defunct. And one of the reasons we really want an archer is not only for Camelot coming up, but also LB2 later on, which is the second part of FGO, has I'm just going to say, a couple of nasty saber bosses that you would want archers for. The reason this wouldn't matter in the future is one of the upcoming evocation festivals will actually be giving us Kuro Archer. That'll be happening sometime around September, which is, as of the point of now, about a little over a month away, probably about a month and a half away. That would really help things out for the account, because that's a welfare single target, guaranteed NP5, 50% charging archer that has hard survivability in her kit. That's really good. That's exactly what we're looking for. But that would require us to wait that long. On our other banner, Castoria Berserker here has a pretty decent AoE rider in Suzuka, but probably the big 4-star pickup here is another single target Avenger, and that is Kuro, aka Clovan Einsburn. Now, Summer Kuro here is a really unique unit. It's difficult to quantify her in a way that a new player would be able to understand. To understand, she's decent single target damage as an Avenger, but also has some unique mechanics to allow the party to charge extra depending on the amount of enemies that they hit, as well as be able to rotate herself out of the party. She has a very clunky kit in that regard, but it's very effective. So there is a whole lot of potential in gaining Kuro for this account as a 4-star. That is all of the considerations I can give you for the time being. And now I'm going to tell you my choice. I'm not going to roll Oberon for 2 reasons. The first here being that while Oberon is really good, a lot of you guys might not have that capacity to get him. Oberon is an exceedingly rare unit. Now, in that regard, that may scream, this is why you should roll him. The thing is, I talked about both the importance of meta supports, but I also talked about the importance of a carry. That is what this is. Castoria Berserker is, again, arguably the game's strongest, single target Berserker. And to a large degree, she would be in the running for the game's strongest single target unit. Her ability to charge herself, her ability to protect the party, is something this account does not have and will need. This will make her an effective boss killer for just about every single thing I'm going to come up against. Now, if I manage to get her, I will go to Oberon's banner and we will try to roll him. But for now, Castoria to me is arguably the better pick. If this were almost any other unit, the answer would be Oberon. This unit is exceptional at what she does. And as a result, and having a unit that basically can just kill every single boss I put her up against from now until pretty much the end of the game, that's not something I can lightly skimp on. So I think the value in gaining Castoria Berserker, oddly enough, both short-term and long-term, outweighs Oberon. Oberon is insanely powerful and insanely good. And he would be the next thing that I would roll here. But like I said, this account needs a high carry, and this account couldn't make as effective of use of Oberon in its current state. Particularly of concern, I'm a little bit worried about Oberon bricking some of my NP1 not fully leveled and skilled out units. And if that happens on this account, that is a death sentence for a lot of those units. For that run, particularly entirely. So, we will try, we will see, but I cannot guarantee. So, let's go ahead, let's do this, and let's see what we get. Again, the 4 stars here, really solid. That is at least a small consideration. But honestly, I really had to let this one come down to the 2 5 stars and which one I thought worked best. So, it's rough. It really is. And I really want a Oberon for this account if possible. But I am a little bit worried about being able to use him so soon in this account. Problem is, you ain't going to be able to skill her. Actually, I will. That actually won't be the problem. Skill gems short term probably will be here, but I can get those pretty fast. The main concern is actually going to be being able to, realistically speaking, support her. I do have Shufu on the account. Well, this account is lucky. That is twice it has pulled an SSR in tickets. What'd you cook today? I ate my London broil again. So, I cannot express how lucky this was that just happened. For context, again, it's about like, anywhere from like 390 to 420 for a rate up SSR. And I just pulled that in like 2 tickets. What I am going to do, I think we'll continue the ticket pulling here, at least for a quote-unquote multi, to get the 11 spin. Because I usually like using tickets in batches. But yeah, we're going to go right over to the Oberon banner after this, because this is ridiculous. Rigged, I cannot explain that, chat. But yeah, this does happen. The reason I'm saying, like, don't expect it to necessarily happen to you is because at the end of the day, yeah, sometimes you're going to get lucky like this. This account has been exceedingly lucky. I can't deny that. But it won't always happen. The big thing that I can hope to prepare you for is that if you do not get the unit that you are trying to summon, it is not the end of the world. You will still get several other things from summoning, craft essences, other new units, name it. And every unit will have a return banner. This has been a proven thing throughout all the time of FGO. People have a tendency to be very short-sighted. They get like really upset when they don't pull the unit. But the easiest way to make sure you never get a unit is to be like, man, I didn't get this unit. Screw it, I quit. I'm never playing the game again. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You got to be persistent. Sometimes you're going to have to keep rolling in order to get the unit that you want. Oh, I got another Roma. But yeah, that is absolutely disgusting luck. What if my wanted unit is the 4-star that never gets a rerun? I bet it does. You'll never get them if you stop playing anyways, yeah. So it's like a lot of people give up. Meanwhile, if you had actually just kept playing and saved, you would have secured the unit. Same thing, now that pity exists in the game, you can force a lot of units to come out. Yeah, I cannot express just how insanely lucky this account is. How are you getting the bells? Pure Prisms can only do so much. Pure Prisms. How good is she at MP1? Very good. Still. Alright, this is our double pull. Looks like it's just 2 CEs, so nothing else there in that 10 tickets, really. That's fine. Like I said, we basically just got away with murder. I think it's sad. I would have really liked Kuro. Kuro would have been a nice little steal to kind of slide in here. But yeah, we're gonna go full-blown greed now. We're gonna try to get Oberon. If I can manage to get Oberon out of this is just an absolute win. And this account will be extremely well off for a new player account. Oberon about to ruin this man's entire account? Absolutely. Holy hell, I got one? Congrats. Yeah, I can't help but feel like we made the right choice there, given how lucky that was. But dang, man. Oh, hold on. Camera was falling off the edge of the monitor again. Extra class servants can't be double-sided. They will always be gold. Wrong. Any good characters you recommend that are next? So, out of what's upcoming here on NA, like I mentioned, the Tez Banner's, he's arguably the game's best AoE assassin. You have, again, the summer rerun banners there. You have Ruler Mel, who's an 80% charging, very hard-hitting AoE ruler. The summer rerun banners have, again, one of the game's best AoE arts, Berserkers. Berserkers are applicable to a lot of situations. And you have Proto Merlin, who is basically the arts form of Merlin, and really, really good at keeping a team alive. And then you have Summer Scotty, who is the game's premier quick support unit at the moment, who is also a 50% charging meta support. So, there's just some really, 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 really good units upcoming. And that's just these banners. Okay, so after this, we do have Nagao Kagatora, who's coming back. She's a single target arts ruler. Not necessarily disgustingly strong, but she's strong enough that she can go toe to toe and outpace Luvia, whose official servant name I suddenly can't remember right now, as a single target ruler. And then basically she also removes buffs before damage. Estrella, thank you. Removes buffs before damage. So she's just disgustingly good. Oh, that's our first Paracelsus. Wow. So you can see there's still a couple things of the 3 stars that we had not gotten yet. We did beat London, so I believe Paracelsus is now in the pool. But man, no, that's good. Paracelsus along Shufu will give me some support capability for her. Now, again, I like doing my tickets in batches of 10 because that allows me, and this is actually not a bad CE either. This is the 5-star CE for the males for this event. But basically, I like doing it in batches of 10 so that I always get that extra spin for the multi. And then usually it's if I have tickets to spare, I usually just sit on them. So again, this one, definitely not bad. This is a all too rare ignore defense CE. Getting this for this account, definitely good, because defense ignore CEs are not super common. They're kind of niche. You don't need them super often, but hey, this will probably be a thing that I could use at some point. It is Buster Up specifically, but it does have NP Strength, so even if we just ignored the Buster Up, just ignore defense and NP Strength is a good combination of effects. And it is all attack scaling, but we probably won't get MLB of this to actually be able to MLB it and get all the attack out of it. So leveling up craft essences is in and of itself its own video. I do have a video talking about that. Feel free to go watch it, especially my Craft Essence Bomb guide that will tell you how to efficiently level Cs, and you really want to do that, because if you don't do that, you will waste a ton of quantum particles, aka QP. Yeah, this is the Oberon banner, so now we're getting the male CEs for the event. With summer, there's a different set of CEs for each gender. You basically have male CEs and female CEs, and they have different effects, but they all give bonuses in the event. This is a new 4-star one. I don't remember exactly the effects of that one. You get a servant here. Assassin. And you still can't... Ooh, Fuma. Fuma's actually a good one as well. He's a decent AoE assassin, and he might be worth leveling up. Fuma's got one of the faster NPs in the entire game. Damage is not too great, but still pretty serviceable, and he does have some nice utility in his kit. NP per turn and NP strength up. Okay, that's actually not bad then. That's probably a good one from the 4-star pool there. Zhengzhu. Zhengzhu is actually a weird sort of support. He's kind of a field type support, which is... Certain units have additional effects when they're on a specific field. So like sunlight battlefield, city battlefield, water side. Zhengzhu can provide some of those to the party. So instead of like having to actually be on the node, he can set the node to that. No. Oh, like maybe when they show it, Lucario, but not before that. Exactly one Tauntcy. Yeah, we'll go get a Tauntcy at some point. That may actually be a thing this stream, because I think I finally have enough rare prisms for that. I played this game since the start. I never knew the meaning of quantum particles. Yeah, a lot of people don't ever hear the full name of QP. So again, Fumakotaro, he's just a 3-star, but he's still a pretty decent one. You'll see there are some decently serviceable picks out of the 3-stars and stuff like that, that they're a good thing to pull. So that is a multi. Again, you can see whenever you're doing multis, you're guaranteed one 4-star card. A lot of people mistake this as you're guaranteed a 4-star CE. This is not true. You're guaranteed one craft essence, one servant, and one 4-star card. Those are the only requirements. And that 4-star card can be upgraded into a 5-star card. So a lot of the time you'll see a 4-star CE, but that you can literally get a roll where your only CE is a 3-star because you got a like 5-star unit or something instead as a weird min roll in effect. Not really much of a min roll if that happens, but so a lot of people make that mistake. There's been some misnomers over time as to like singles being better than multis. This is not true. Multis are always better in that regard, but there is some logic to, hey, maybe if you only have a couple of courts left, just doing singles to see what you can get, that sort of thing. Loading chat, everything's gonna be loading. Okay, everything's gonna be loading. Like, none of that is that absurd. Do we have Medusa on this account before now? We did not. Excellent. Okay, so Medusa is also a pretty serviceable AoE rider. She doesn't do as much damage as Alexander does, but she does have charge, which is really, really nice. And then Rounds Beach. I don't remember what that one does. That's new for this event. Berserker. Wrong banner, but there we go. Another copy of Darius. I've been playing since around London time drop. Wait, really? Like, I mean, it happens. I don't know why some people like haven't heard it. Other than it's just not commonly used. Everything's abbreviated in this game all the time. So I will sometimes refer to things as their full name so that everybody understands that's new that's watching. But yes, that is the name of QP. There is still one 3-star that I have not seen that is getting almost like my main account. He is getting very annoying and not showing up right now. And if you know, you know, chat. Yeah, Bronze Link Manipulator's not terrible. The Medusa is one of the original Fate Stay Night characters. A lot of people like her just for that. It's a shame she's a 3-star in this form, but it is what it is. Just taking a quick look here. So Rounds Beach, Arts and Buster Card effectiveness by 4% each and 2 stars per turn. That's not terrible. There's definitely worse Cs out there than that. Flowery Paradise here is a new rendition of an old Craft Essence. Not the best, but it's not terrible either. All of the servants, the first time I roll them, should be locked. Trigger Off here is a decent one. If we can get MLB of this, this would be really, really nice. There's a new set of Cs like Trigger Off here that they're 4-star variants of 5-star CEs. So they're not as powerful, but they do have, again, like you can see here, starting charge and arts card effectiveness. Definitely a really, really nice effect to have. And Bronze Link Manipulator is just 3 turns, attack up 15%. And some of the older nodes where people used to just Oonga Boonga with Berserkers, that was a very powerful CE. People just throw it on and are like, well, the node's not going to last longer than 3 turns anyways. We're just going to go with it. All Attack Dragon Meridian. Ooh. Summercast up to NP3, 110 plus mana loading, or 120? I mean, mana loading is 90% on her own. Even if you didn't max it out, it's 80%. So that's tough. I'm going to tell you, just go with whatever your heart desires. If you really want that 120, go for it, but mana loading is super nice. Hello, Elone. How's it going? A little bit of a pause there. It's a servant. See what this is. How I can... Oh my god. This account is ridiculous. Is this Tristan? This account is blessed? It is. I mean, it doesn't have something like a K-scope or a black rail, right? But, like, this is getting really good in terms of, like, what you could start out with as an account. It's just very, very lucky. Can't believe your dad works for LaSingle. I wish. I might get luckier than this, right? I'm gonna have to invalidate your new player run for absurd RNG. It is what it is. Even new players can get lucky, chat. So Oberon's a weird unit. He's a particularly story integral unit to LB6. So as a result, if you do manage to acquire someone like him, you can get him, you can level him up, you can upgrade all of his skills, but you will not be able to unlock his third ascension until you have done the story. What does that mean? It means you can still put him through the third ascension, but you won't get the appearance for it. The appearance is locked behind other stuff. Will you roll more Arttoria copies? I mean, there is like that temptation, but this is a position I did not think I would be in. Yeah, I think like there's Tez, there's Proto Merlin. I think waiting for the later banners is the better play here. I really do. I think getting Oberon, getting Arttoria, that is the primary goals here. And again, it's lucky as all get out. I told everybody last night when I was deliberating this in VIP, like, with the amount of courts I had, I was like, I'm just going to look at this as I'm lucky to get one. And not only did I get one, I got two. And we got one of the 4 stars, which... I mean, Tristan, even just getting the one copy of him, he's not going to be like super strong, but just getting that copy gives you his utility of his first skill. So there is value there. I mean, there's also the possibility of getting like Mel. 3,000 days in Castoria. Yeah, it's tough because like just thinking about this and like how I want to conduct this, that is really rough. I still need to upgrade it first though. Sorry, drop my pen. Yeah, like see, there is just this possibility of being like, hey, I just go out and I get like VShojo assassin here, and I get a AoE assassin that has charge, and I'm okay, and I don't need Tez, but that is just... I gotta think about this. We do have 5 rare prisms. And this is probably a good time to showcase this for new account people. But if we come under the rare prism shop here, see there are various things that we can unlock. NA is just now getting to the point where some of these don't cost anything to permanently unlock them. These are your Da Vinci shop Cs, as you'll hear people refer to them as. They are account support Cs. Like, for instance, this will give you personal training. It will unlock the ability to purchase personal training. So first you'd have to purchase it with a rare prism, which unlocks it. Then you have to purchase it with mana prisms, which it's 1,000 mana prism per copy. So it's expensive as all hell. But this will get you personal training. gets you 10% extra master experience whenever the CE is equipped in your party. So there are really, really good things. Mona Lisa in particular is one of the best things you can get in an early account. This is just 10% extra QP. Same deal here. Chaldea Lunchtime, it's 10% extra bonding. So usually a lot of people go for Lunchtime and Mona Lisa first because they are just insanely valuable and always just keep adding. There are other mystic codes that you can purchase and unlock. My advice, none of these are super important, so you don't really need to unlock them. Out of all of them, probably the two that I would prioritize unlocking are called Anniversary Blonde, which I'm not seeing here at the moment, and the other one is Fragment of 2004. Those two mystic codes are really, 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 really strong. And you have your monthly items, just like you do with the Mana Prism shop. Crystallized Lore is usually what I go with, but there is some value to the Bond Lanterns. This is one of your only ways to get Bond Lanterns outside of like events and stuff that show up. Story completion will give you some of these now. That is a newer addition to the game, so newer players won't have as dire of a need for Bond Lanterns as some veterans do that have been playing the game for years. This Bond Lantern is the only way to increase your ability, and people call it a Bond Grail a lot of the time. It's the only way to increase the bond capacity beyond Bond 10 for a unit. So if you want to keep being able to bond the unit beyond the 10th version, you have to spend a Bond Lantern for each bond level. And you have unlocks for like old events and main interludes. Some of these are really nice, but some of them will have requirements. Like, for instance, we can't do this because we have to clear one of the Epic of Remnants, which is part 1.5, basically. There's also old command codes in here. Some of these are crap and absolutely not worth your time. Others are pretty nice, like Mirror of Eight Leaves here. It's kind of up to you to determine. Whoa, it almost tried to purchase there. It's kind of up to you to determine. Here's Fragment of 2004, so this would be a good one. Like, again, I could purchase this, unlock it, and have it. But there's one thing I'm really looking forward to. Also, Sweet Crystal. If you ever get fat with rare prisms and you're not sure what to spend it on because you bought a bunch of the other stuff, Sweet Crystal is really good. This is an old event CE that at MLB is all attack scaling, has 50% charge, and literally gives you Ignore Invincible. So it's a really, 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 really good CE for utility purposes. The problem, it costs 5 rare prisms per copy. It's going to cost you 25 rare prisms to get that. You're not going to need it super upfront, but it can be a thing, especially even if you maybe just pay to unlock one copy, that might be better than some of your other options for getting Invuln Pierce. So there's the Annie Blonde one. There's one thing in particular that I'm looking for in here. Is it this one? I think it is this one. It's the 2019 one. I see it right there. So this is going to cost us 3 rare prisms. And what we've done is we've exchanged for it. This is going to allow us to pick a commemorative craft essence from one of the old Chaldea Boys events. There are a couple of other old Chaldea Boys events, so make sure you get the right one. On NA, this is 2019. On JP, it is 2017, depending on which server you're playing on. So the 2019 one here on NA is going to be what allows us to do this. We're going to back out. We're going to go up here to exchange ongoing events, and we should see it now here. So we can only get 1 copy of a craft essence from here. Now, there are some actually pretty good old CEs in here in some of these cases, like Conversation on the Hot Sands. This one, at the time that it came out, was actually considered to be one of the game's better CEs. Not so much anymore, due to Star Gather Rate is not as big of a deal, since we have way more ways to kind of soak stars to people, including just flooding the entire party with stars. But the big one here is actually this 4-star CE called Outrage. The reason this is important The game only has 4 taunt craft essences. What? Or is it 5? I don't remember. It's really, really small amount. Outrage is the only one that you can just purchase with a rare prism. You can get this regardless of banner availability. This one copy of it is always available to everybody. Outrage as a taunt CE is extremely invaluable. Taunt works very specially in this game. It is only 1 turn, but you can utilize this to get somebody sacrificed and get them killed on a turn where you're sure heavy damage is incoming. Or you can utilize this simply to work your way down to a solo run for some unit that can carry you. Or again, you can just use this to divert the flow of aggression from enemies. So it's a really, really powerful tool. Really, really good. There are numerous instances where a taunt C can be good. All of them are usually challenge fights. So this is what we will go with. I don't have the exchange item, I suspect, because it is probably in my mailbox. Sure enough, it is. We'll grab that. I'll grab the extra little quartz that I didn't know was in there, and we will exchange for Outrage. So now this account will have a taunt CE. However, while more taunt CEs would be good, that is the only one I'm going to get from not rolling. Every other taunt CE that I could want in the game, I will have to roll for. So that one is really, really nice. It's kind of a hidden gem. A lot of people don't know about it, but it's a really, really good one. And I do have a video talking about this exact subject. So that's really good for us. I don't know if that went into the... Yes, it did. And again, when in doubt, if you can't find it, go into your mailbox. It's probably there. And make sure you lock it. You don't want to lose it. You don't want to accidentally feed it something. Yeah, let's go see what we can do with regards to leveling up our units. I have not been doing a whole lot, and we will need to level up Yarandu here, aka Nocnaria, aka Mabe. This is a welfare unit that is unique to the event, and she has the kind of unique, as you can see, 2x experience modifier there. However, the goal will be probably to level her up with cards that we get from the actual event shop, as there should be plenty there to work since she'll be on 2x rate. For everybody else, we got to work with the cards that we have. I thankfully did get to do some farming, but not a whole lot. We do already have a couple of our welfares maxed out, so there's that. But let's go find our new units. The Castoria is already looking pretty sweet here. I'm just immediately going to go ahead and throw some of these foes, because I want this Castoria to be good, to be solid, to be a carry for us in effect. I usually like to do even increments, especially on an SSR. You can certainly, feed as is, but with an SSR, I have a tendency to throw on the higher rarity foes on them, so that's why I try to go even if I'm going to use the lesser rarity increments on them. But you can see I don't have much in the way of attack, and I think it's because I used almost all of those on Jerker. We'll sit on that for right now until we get a little bit more. There should be some in the event that can help us out. You can see we actually did level up a smidge from that. So it is something to denote, is that if you use your foes early, you'll get a frankly non-important amount of experience from it. But what you will do is you will actually cut the cost of QP for foeing a unit. So if you look here, you can see using a card to enhance her right now only costs 780. Why is this important? Well, let's use a higher rarity card. What does it cost? Still 780. The rarity is not what determines the QP needed to enhance a unit. It is the unit's level that will determine that. And that's something that is an important thing to denote. So when possible, it's usually a good practice to go ahead and foe your unit first before leveling them. But in the grand scheme of things, you're going to end up leveling up a ton of units before you ever do that. Don't worry about it too much. Not a big deal. Why does that keep... You have to actually physically unselect it. There we go. Okay, you can also come up to this auto select button if you want to level up units. You guys should have seen this before now, but I can set this to same class only. This will use only Berserker Embers with her. We can certainly throw that entire stack in, but for me here, probably going to back some of these out just because I know that there is the potential for a super success proc, something that could double or even triple the amount of experience we get. So probably a good idea to kind of hold on that and not just immediately max it. You'll see me kind of cheat this some as I try to go a little bit halvesies each time with like, okay, I know 50 is the endpoint for this ascension. Let's get her to 45 since we were at 41. See if we get a proc there. And you can keep doing this up to the point at which you decide, hey, yo, this is just annoying. I don't want to have to keep doing this. See, we could also use other class cards. If we do use other class cards, though, do understand that it's not like going to be as efficient. You can still use them. Like I could use a saber to level a berserker, but it's not as good. So you usually want to pair them up. The exception again being all slot cards. Those are usually very nice for you. I probably shouldn't be fishing with just 2 cards for a proc, but if it happens, oh well. Okay, so let's see. So this would be enough. We only need 41,000 to level, though. So that's kind of overkill. I could do that, which is 31, and that, which is 43, and that would work. I could also, if I really wanted, stretch this with some of my, like, bronze embers here. It's maybe not, like, the end of the world, but just to illustrate a point, look at that. 46,000 needed QP. I could also just do that. That's only 18. I could also just do that. That's only 9. So the less cards I use, the less QP cost there is. And this is an important thing to denote as you are leveling people, because if you're not, like, I'm not going to say you have to, like, min-max all of this, but if you're not paying attention to it, all of a sudden your QP will just evaporate and you'll wonder what happened, where did it all go, how could this have happened to me? And you'll be kind of like stuck and you'll be needing to farm QP. Obviously, that'll be a thing regardless. You will have to farm QP at points in time of your account, but it's probably a good idea to have some idea why certain things are costing more. Rarity can come into play still some with the unit, but that dominant factor is, again, the level. And this is Castoria Berserker's second form. If you're confused as to why she's named Castoria Berserker, don't worry about it. It's just one of those deals where this is the caster form of Arttoria, which is a different form of Arttoria. It's a sort of different origin for her. And so as a result, a lot of people will just call her Castoria, but you will end up with a situation like this where Castoria gets a summer form. That summer form is a berserker, so now she's Castoria Berserker. So Caster Arttoria Berserker. This is why I just call her Zertoria. It makes it easier. But there is another berserker that's an Arttoria, so this does confuse people sometimes. So you can see I'm doing a whole lot of manual adding and leveling here. You don't have to do it this way. You can definitely do it faster, not worry about like how long it's taking you to level a unit as I am, or you can just try to like brute force it if you have the cards. There's no problem with that. Sometimes I do this the hard way, sometimes I don't. You can see if I did a second card here, I'd end up just shy. That would be well overkill. So that's enough for a normal Ember. Let's see. So if I did any other non-class normal Ember here, this would work. Out of these, just looking at this, I don't necessarily have a class that I want to like steal an Ember from. So do I have a 4-star Ember? I don't. Oh, that's just unfortunate. So I think I will. I think I'll steal the Assassin Ember here, just for efficiency purposes. Was outraged to see you got from the present box and locked. Yes. Yes, it was. I was just talking to them about. Oh my god, that is so lucky. So we managed to just barely have enough shells. That's from doing this event. I haven't talked to you guys about doing events on an account yet. Naturally, for most of you, you'll want to roll before you properly start an event, because that'll get you craft essences for the event, and that'll make you more efficient. In my case, I'm a streamer, so I often wait until it's my stream time to do so. And in this case, I actually had to do rolls on my main account, so we're just now getting to roll on this account. So this account's already been playing the event for a couple of days. There we go. We need the Scales of Fantasy here. This is an LB6 material. I do not have access to these. You may be wondering why I have 71 feathers. This is because of the monthly login tickets. I went ahead, made an executive decision, and just picked up like 60 of them, because I was like, well, early accounts have a tendency to need feathers. So I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and grab that. Just do what I can. But you can see it's getting expensive to level this unit. This is a 5-star unit. So pretty natural course of events. I'm going to use some of the all embers here, but naturally I will want to use some of the all embers on Oberon. So the ideal here is going to be to get her through her 3rd ascension in order to unlock her 3rd skill as a means of kind of helping us. We can shift it over here to all only. You can see that would finish it. Back out some of these. The all embers are what I really want to prioritize saving if I can. So much for raising her skills past the shells. Hey, it's more important to level the unit than work on their skills first, so get more bang for your buck just by having the skill unlocked than by having another skill leveled up. Yeah, we'll go with 2 here, but again, go for the nice proc. No proc. Yeah, she hasn't been very beneficial to us on procs. Sometimes you'll get a ton, sometimes you just won't. You can see we're losing out on about 20,000 experience there. That's not great, but it's not terrible either. I mean, you could obviously do something like go boom, and you can see like even that wouldn't be enough. So to me, it's worth just using the second 5-star ember and going with it. Eventually, you're going to get to a point in your account where you just burn all bronze embers because they're not worth. Silver embers will majorly get burned as well, purely for the mana prisms that you can get from it. But all gold embers, both 4 and 5-star rarity, are usually kept and usually used because they are actually worth, and they still only get you the same amount of mana prisms as a silver if you burn them. It's not really worth actually burning them. It's worth using them if possible. They are just far more efficient than the other options. Okay, so we need 5 Scales of Fantasy. You can see I'm not exactly swimming in mana prisms, or sorry, pure prisms here. But this is again what I talked about. Pure prisms are what's going to bail you out. I know this is an LB6 material. I'm not going to get access to it very easily. I could go check the event, see if it's in the shop. But in general, I know I'm going to probably need more of these. So I'm just going to go ahead. I'm going to buy some. And you can actually see I already had actually bought some prior to now. We go back to Enhance. We're going to go down here to Ascension. She is locked until we can get her ascended. Boom, there you go. Yeah, if we want more shells, we'll probably have to get to Ordeal Call at that point for efficient grinding. So this is Arttoria Berserker's 3rd Ascension. And with this, we will get unlocked her third skill. Now, we could obviously take her higher. We could take her through this cap all the way up to 90. That will be the goal eventually. But for now, just kind of getting her online, getting stuff unlocked. She'll have damage bonus in this event because she is a summer unit and because she is actually coming out with this event. Usually in the event that a unit debuts, they are a damage bonus unit. They also have a tendency to have bond bonus and things like that. So good idea if you acquire them to use them in their event, but it's not a like hard and fast rule that says like you have to use them or anything like that. You can see this gets her Earth card up on top of the 70% that she had in terms of her charge, but that's only if we max out those skills. So we could spend a little bit more to get her through the Ascension here, but I think let's go look at Oberon now. Now we've gotten her leveled up, so we have a pretty effective boss killer. And you may be thinking, well, hold on, Cad, didn't you have Jerker already as a boss killer? And you are right, Jerker does have some survivability issues, and Jerker won't be able to handle everything on her own. So getting a second single target that can really go toe-to-toe and is a berserker, so it can handle just about any class we throw at it, the exception, ironically enough, being a foreigner. Berserkers are really, really good. And main story in particular, doesn't really have foreigners. It's not until, I want to say, Lost Belt 7 that you really start to encounter foreigners in the story. So as a result, your berserkers are a good carry for a long time. You can see we can go ahead, slot all that in. Let's not do that. Pack out some of these in case of the proc. Salem as well. Salem is not required story. So there is part 1. Part 2, there is Epic of Remnant and Ordeal Call. Each of these are their own thing. Part 1 and Part 2 are the absolute main requirements. Part 1 is your stuff all the way up through Solomon Temple of Time. It is your singularities, is how a lot of people look at them. Your Epic of Remnants are effectively Part 1.5. They are non-essential. I highly recommend you do them eventually, but I also highly recommend skipping over them and going into part 2 as fast as possible because of story lock requirements for events. You will want to progress as fast as you can through story to unlock stuff. And Ordeal Call is technically 2.5. This is where the game currently sits right now on both NA and JP. JP will be moving on from Ordeal Call very soon. We don't know what is in store for next, probably a part 3. But that's what we're looking at currently. So what I'm talking about is over here, these are the Lost Belts. These are your part 2 stories. Basically, for all of part 1 and all of part 2, only until like the end of part 2 will you finally start encountering foreigners. They are in the Epic of Remnants and other such stuff, but as long as you stick to just main story, you won't have to worry about encountering them. You can see we got him, I believe that procced. Yeah, because I don't think I put in a full thing. So that did save us some embers. That's really good. Somehow I have enough dust. I don't know where I got all that dust. But I will take it. Oberon is a pretender. Pretenders are one of the extra classes, and they're very nasty. And what I mean by that is that material costs. So certain units later on, you'll notice like, hey, you're gonna start like getting access to skill gems a lot easier, particularly from doing a lotto and stuff. So certain units, like, they're not that hard to level. Alter egos, rulers, and moon cancers in particular have a tendency for their first 7 levels of skills to just take like skill gems, and it's not bad. So at that point, yeah, if you don't have skill gems, it can be annoying, but eventually you'll find a good quantity of them. So leveling up your alter ego Moon Cancer and Ruler is usually pretty easy. Meanwhile, for other extra classes like Pretender, Avenger, and Foreigner, they use all Ascension materials. So they can be kind of annoying sometimes to level. The good news is they usually don't use a ton. You can see here, it's like, it's only requiring 10 of any given unit. So it's not the end of the world. But yeah, I mean, if it's a material you don't have access to, it can be really, really bad. Doubly so if it's just a material that you just know that you need in great quantities already, even before acquiring the unit. Why did it so haphazardly choose these embers? This is oddly timed music. Okay, so again, we're just kind of fishing with him. We're trying to stretch these embers, trying to get as much as we can. Yeah, I'll do 4 here. What do you get from the Evo shop if you buy the welfare MP upgrades if you already have them in P5? Coins at that point. Assuming you already have like every other unit, right? Coins are all you get. That would be enough. Doesn't look like that's making much of a difference. Even 5 of these would not be enough. So yeah, we're just throwing in the extra ember there. I'm not going to fish for 3. I'm going to pray to God he didn't proc here. You would never know. They changed the game so you can't tell. It used to be you would actually be able to see if you got a super great success even when you hit the level cap. But they kind of changed it because I think they knew that it potentially pissed people off when they got a proc when they didn't want to. Now you just can't tell. Same deal here. So we actually, just looking at Oberon's Ascension, again, we need the lamps. Now, lamps are technically a Singularity 6 resource. We could get these soon-ish in the story, but they are a gold mat. They're not it's usually not easy to farm gold mats. The gold mats especially are where I really like to use my pure prisms. The unfortunate nature is that is really costly for using pure prisms. But one of the reasons I'm a-okay with using pure prisms here is because these are like units that I really want up and online for my new account here. These are going to be units that are going to carry me for a long time. So it's a-okay to go ahead and splurge a little bit here in the opening and say, look, it is what it is. As long as I can get the unit up and ready, it's worth. So again, Oberon is just not going to give us his 3rd ascension when we finally get to it. Don't worry about that. You can still level him up all the way, but just a you've been warned type of thing here. Oh, Black Beast Grease. That is another nasty one. Let me double check. Let's see if it's in the event, but I doubt it. Black Beast Grease is one of the game's least used materials, which is unfortunate. I'd rather not have to buy it if I don't have to. It's very rarely used for units. Doesn't look like it. So basically, it is another gold material. It does look like we have Eggs of Truth here, though, so that's nice. It means we could potentially get that for Castoria Berserker. And usually in a event that a unit comes out, the event shop might have materials that could help ascend and level the unit. So again, Phoenix Feathers were here, Scales of Fantasy were here, Shells are here. So I could have potentially saved some Pure Prisms by doing that. But given that I'm going to use the unit in the event, it's probably a good idea. So we'll have to use some Pure Prisms here, but I think it's worth to get Oberon's 3rd skill unlocked because, good lord, that 3rd skill is disgusting. And you'll see what I mean when I talk about it. I actually didn't pay attention to just how many of the Black Beast grease I needed. I'll buy 4. Go back to enhance. I needed 5 more, of course. So I know I have to get them through this ascension anyways. That's why I'm just going ahead and just doing it. But definitely, if you're in a much more patient approach, feel free to take your time. The more you save pure prisms, the more you can bail yourself out later. There is a finite amount that you can exchange a resource for. So keep that in mind. Like, let's say I was like, man, I really wanted Eggs of Truth. I really needed them, and I exchanged for all 100. I cannot ever get Eggs of Truth out of the Pure Prism shop ever again. Unless I use a restore ticket, of which JP has this mechanic, and A does not have it as of the recording here. So far, as of that point on JP, only 6 ever have been given out. So there's a maximum possible resets of 6. But you cannot reset the same material twice. So let's say I went ahead, I used up all of my Eggs of Truth, I exchanged all the Pure Prisms I had for it, and it was down to 0. I could use the restock ticket to restock it back up to 100, exchange for all of them again, but I cannot restock Eggs of Truth specifically a second time. So that is just a restriction they put on it. You can only ever exchange one more time on any given material. And it's meant because, again, Pure Prisms are mostly a new player thing. They're here to help you get access to materials that you wouldn't otherwise have. They don't want this to be a replacement for farming, because the entire end game of the game is farming. So it's a really, really nice onboarding feature to help you guys. But you will eventually just have to knuckle down and go out and farm the mat. They might end up expanding that at some point in the future. I know a lot of people that want that, so I'll never say never in that regard, but do keep in mind that it's probably not in the devs' best interest to give it to you. Doesn't mean they won't, just it's not in their best interest to. Okay, so back to Oberon here. Wherever he was, I don't know, he's lurking. There he is. Blends in. So we could just, again, throw in the stack and get all the way to 69 there, but nice. Not exactly ideal for proc purposes here. Go ahead, let that go to 65, see if we get a proc. Again, triple procs are possible. You'll see me only playing for doubles a lot, but because the odds of a double are okay, the odds of a triple are exceedingly rare. And like, if it happens, it happens. I'd certainly be ecstatic, but I'm not gonna like sit here and fish for that over and over and over again and waste everybody's time. It's also nice for new units with the new mats. Yeah, it can be really good if a newly released like material is in the shop. So usually we get new materials with new story chapters added to the game. However, usually after the story chapter comes out, the material is not in the Pure Prism shop for the first 2 weeks. That is probably a like both economic thing that they do, and also something where I think they look at it and they go like, okay, like, go out and farm it some. Like, don't just blow your wad right away and lose all of your Pure Prisms. So it is what it is, because there's people like me, like, where my veteran account has, like, thousands of Pure Prisms that's just sitting on, because it doesn't really need it. There we go. So level 70 reached. Now, with this, gonna unlock. We barely had enough Chaos Claws. Chaos Claws are really useful probably for a lot of my 3 stars that I have, but Oberon kind of better. So not worried about it. You made a new account. Why? For new players. So this is warning you about what I was just telling you, that you're not going to be able to see his third stage ascension because you have to complete story for that. But we do unlock his third skill. We do level him up through his breakpoint there, and you can see he's also going to take Scales of Fantasy. He needs Deadly Poisonous Needles, which is just what I've been waiting on to see if I had anybody that needed that. So boom, we can go ahead and we can exchange 9 of these tickets. These are just our daily login tickets for doing our dailies and stuff. So really, really good there. I've been wondering what to spend these on. Some of these, like Meteor Horseshoes, make a lot of sense for a new account, but I may end up encountering a unit that needs some of these others. So I knew that I had that, so we could just go ahead and exchange that and get that, and then we can get the Scales of the Fantasy for the shop. And now we at least have them both through level 70 and through that third ascension, so that they actually have access to their skills. Real quick here, just to clean things up on the account, go ahead, let's combine our Noble Phantasms. It's a good thing to do every time you roll. Combine them up so that you don't end up accidentally burning something that you still needed. And you'll see here, this does take some QP, but it's kind of a drop in the bucket compared to everything else. Yes, they have bells and shells. And scales. All 3 are in the shop. Yeah, this is mostly just meant to help new players. One of the big reasons why I've embarked upon this account and been trying to do it. Looks like Romulus has a couple of copies we can do here. This is actually making Romulus a pretty decent option for us. Which you could tell I already kind of early invested in him. Not a whole lot, but Romulus is not a bad Lancer. Especially for a 3-star, he's got quite a bit of a decent kit. He's got charge, he's got Imperial Privilege, which helps him kind of stay alive. So he's definitely a pretty solid option for you. Hector, on the other hand, is a little bit more of a like farmer and kind of slight party support unit here. Got that other copy of Zhang Zhu. I'm probably butchering his name. I apologize to all of my Chinese fans out there. I have never been good at announcing Chinese names. Now, I could keep a copy of Georgios here, aka St. George, as a esports version, as we like to call it, a unleveled version that is designed to kill himself. But what I'll probably do is I'll probably still combine copies until I get to NP5, and then I will roll, once I roll a 6 copy, then I will keep that and make that the esports copy. Just in case I end up needing something stronger than an esports. I didn't know that one. Good to know. Yep. That's Pekara's grandpa? Oh my god. So what's the reference for that? Because obviously I'm at least somewhat familiar with Pekara, but I haven't like watched her FGO streams. We did actually get a lot of copies of Medea, which is good, because Medea is not known for her damage, so getting the additional copies here will help that out some. This should make Medea at least a decent single target caster option for us now. It's not going to be great, but this account is getting to that point where it's got some decent buster capability and also some decent arts capability. There's just a ton of units to combine. You can expect that if you roll a lot. The more you roll, the more you're going to have to do. But again, you will reach a point where all the units you have are at NP5, and then you just can quickly just go in, combine the units that you newly rolled, and then burn everything else. So it is a thing. That's why I tell you guys, like, combine up to NP5. Make sure you guys are getting to that point on your accounts. That way you don't have to worry about that too much. You can see some of my 3 stars are finally reaching NP5. It does take quite a bit of FP to get some of them there, but FP is functionally infinite. It's just going to keep happening to you over the course of the game. You'll keep getting it from various campaigns. You'll keep getting it from lottos when you play them. And obviously, if people use your units on support, they can get that, which is actually probably something I need to go do, is actually tweak my support, because I haven't been the best in terms of setting all of that up. Yes, we got MP3 Darius, and like I mentioned before, Darius is a very low investment unit. He is just level that man up to level 70, and you don't even really have to like scale his skills, and he is just a like slot him in, charge him up, get him to kill, and he will wipe out a wave for you. Surprised I still don't have NP5 Leonidas. That is irregular, but it happens. You'll see, like, sometimes you just end up really getting units and really not. Meanwhile, we rolled Faber right at the beginning, and I have yet to see another copy of him. Yes, we got Oberon. Both of them were pretty luck sack. I've managed to somehow get out of both of these banners pretty much on like tickets and 2 multis. Like, it really did not cost me much of anything, which is just, like I said, it's kind of absurd. Okay, so when in doubt, if you're not sure, like for instance, I'm looking at Kojiro here and I'm like, I don't remember getting NP5 of him. You can narrow this down by class. Should make things a little bit clear. Okay, so we already had NP5 of him. And usually the easy way to tell is if you do, the character will, like a locked version like you see here with Sathena, will sort itself to the top, and the other character will be paired right next to them. So that's usually an easy way to tell if there are combinable copies, though I do recommend being a little thorough at first, making sure, so that way you don't screw yourself. Like for instance, I'm not sure about Spartacus, but apparently we got MP5 Spartacus already, so that's good. Okay, so all of that should now be burnable. In general, and this has changed over the years, but now the first copy of every unit you roll should be automatically locked. That was not always the case, particularly with like 4 stars and stuff. So there were some very unfortunate events. But you can see here, it's like, okay, everything else, if it's locked, it's going to be grayed out. I can't even select it to burn it. All of these aren't, so they are just freely available, which means that they must be units that already have it in P5 because there's nobody else to combine them with. So they are an easy burn, and that just allows me to kind of clear out my inventory pretty quickly. Okay, so that's done. We've done that. Now let's start going to look at the skills. Now, skill priority is one of the hardest things to do in FGO. It can definitely be difficult because you're like, oh man, hey, you know, this is good. I have the materials. I should just level the skill. Sometimes you want to prioritize certain things more than others. So it really does depend on what you're trying to do. A lot of it depends as well on just knowing the unit and knowing their skills as to like what they can get away with, what they're good at, and so on and vice versa. You can see that this account is just like, it's got a problem. There are way too many, how should I put it? Like, way too many units of the caster variety for this account that need to be leveled. And so there's just an immediate need for those resources. This happens to so many new accounts, particularly with casters. Casters are often a very, very problematic thing. Sorry, chat. That was me. I had Googled Murderbot Season 2 because we watched Murderbot Season 1. Fantastic show, by the way. Really liked it. The comedy in it was solid. But yes, apparently there might be a Season 2. So what I'm going to look up here and show you guys is, hey, look, it's Fandom Wiki, and Fandom Wiki is a great resource for you guys. I'm going to keep hammering this home for you, but at least as the current point in time, Fandom's been getting a little bit worse over time here, but it's still pretty good resource. So usually they'll keep things up to date. If not, you might have to go down to the all events button to see. But you can see this is the current event active on an A. I can come in here and I can just come up to the summoning campaigns and find the new units this way. Also, if they're doing things appropriately, it might just be listed on the front page, or you might just be able to like search for it in the search bar if you know the unit's name. So in this case, we're coming in, we're looking at Arttoria Berserker. Why? We want to see what the skill effects are for each of her skills, and that will help us determine what to prioritize. So naturally, things like her self-survivability and steroids seem really strong. But what if I told you that one of the best things that a unit can get is charge? So something like this, I could see it's a base 30%, but if we can get this skill all the way up to 10, if we can lower this skill, we can get 50% charge off of this. Simultaneously, this second skill here is base 10%, but goes all the way up to 20. It also affects her NP gain rate here. So there's value really in leveling all three of her skills. They're all good. They're all either charge skills, skills that affect her looping capability, or skills that just affect her overall damage capacity and or survivability. Skill cooldowns shouldn't be underestimated in these circumstances. So getting her self steroid that is also her self invincibility of 1 turn on a 6-turn cooldown, getting it back faster is probably good, right? Especially if we know we're going to be taking this unit into challenge environment. So that's one of the big things I think you can do to really help out your account. Learn the units and learn the priorities. I have an entire video that walks through skill priorities and what I consider to be the priority. There is no wrong choice per se, but there are ways you can just make this game easier on you by prioritizing certain things. So in this case, for me, yeah, I'm going to end up going after her charge skill here first. To me, this one is probably the most important, as I get the best bang for my buck out of it. So this now means even just from leveling up once, you can see I don't have the skill gems to do it more. From just leveling it once, it's gone from 30 to 32% charge. So I got 2% there. It's not a whole lot. But as we start getting it up more and more and more, we're going to end up getting even more charge. This combined with the second skill, if we can level it as well, we can get even more there. You can see I only get 1% if I level the second skill. So it is what it is. There's not a whole lot of gain. It may seem like it's small. Trust me, the stuff adds up. Getting a unit to their charge breakpoints, as we like to call it, is a really, really good idea. And it's really helpful to them. So, yes, I can't do too much with this for right now, but this will be something that we will prioritize in the short term. Now, we also have Oberon. Oberon is a very similar issue. But you can see, all of a sudden, we don't need skill gems to level Oberon. We need Ascension mats. This is what sucks about leveling Pretenders. Getting Oberon skills online is gonna suck, but it's gonna be worth it in the end. And just to show you guys here again, so we can come up here, we can search Oberon. We could have also gone back to the event hub and found it that way. But you can see Oberon's first skill here is base 20% charge. We don't have to level the skill to get more charge out of it. Leveling it up still good though, because you get more damage out of it. His second skill is going to give us charge that scales. So this would probably be the one we'd want to level, because again, similar to Arttoria here, this is 50% charge. But this one's targetable. Arttoria's is just for herself. Sorry, Arttoria Berserker, let me be clear, because there are two versions of Arttoria. Arttoria Berserker's is just for herself. Oberon's, though, his is targetable, so he can give this to somebody else. So this probably should be our priority. But you can notice there's a little pesky effect there at the end. This is one of the reasons why I said, like, maybe for this new account, I'm not sure that Oberon could have made effective use out of it early. Oberon works best when you can just brute force a 3-turn. Because when you can brute force a 3-turn, you can use this 50% charge skill on the 3rd turn, and then this delayed 20% drain happens after you've cleared the node, so you don't care. So it's a way to just completely offset the demerit and just not actually like matter with it. But in a case with, hey, I'm not sure I'm going to be able to clear, this starts to get a little bit more precarious. And this skill, there is a whole lot. You probably just looked at everything that there is on this screen and you just like, your brain just shut off. You just powered down and you're like, oh. Because you were probably like, I don't want to have to read all of that. And I don't blame anybody that thinks that. The thing is, this skill is ridiculously strong. TLDR, what this does, this not only gives a 50% buster up for 1 turn to an ally, this also doubles any source of the NP damage up buff on them currently. This does not stack with another Oberon. I mean, at least not the NP damage up buff. The Buster would, but that's it. But this is an unstackable skill, and it's exceedingly strong. So the idea behind this is, you can see here, his first skill gives party-wide NP damage. So even if we just use this for context, let's say Oberon gave everybody in the party 30% extra NP damage here, and he put his 3rd skill on them. That 3rd skill will double this to 60%. So it is an insanely powerful damage tool just within his own kit. And this affects not just his own buffs that he gives to other people. This affects any source of NP damage up that they have on their own. So if the unit has it as part of their kit, if the Mystic Code they're using gives it to them, if another unit gives them NP damage up, or if their own craft essence gives them NP damage up, Oberon doubles all of that. He adds all the sources of NP damage up together and then doubles it. It's really, really good. And for reference as to how, let me show you one of the game's best craft essences, known as the Black Grail. Now, this CE, when you MLB it, has scaling attack up to 2400 that you can level it for, which is really good. It's best in game. And then it also has 80% NP damage up. There is this nasty little demerit here, but you're probably not going to care because something's going to die before that really takes effect. 80% NP damage up, doubled from Oberon, on top of every other source of NP damage that you could possibly load in, including from a Mystic Code from Oberon himself. This starts getting to be stupid amounts of damage. But yeah, this is one of the reasons why like everyone was just reacting to just the fact that I pulled Oberon as luckily as I did is such a like crime against humanity, because this 3rd skill is ridiculously powerful. What's the downside? The downside is, as we mentioned before, that this skill bricks your unit. What do I mean? It's this little portion. So basically it has a 1000% chance to remove the target's buffs and puts them in eternal sleep. This eternal sleep debuff is treated as a buff for yourself. So you can't remove it, you can't block it, you can't do anything to get rid of it. The only way, in theory, to get rid of it is to use a unit that kills themselves at the end of their own turn. So, for instance, you could put End of a Dream on a Rash. He would gain the benefit of all the buffs. He would then die at the end of his turn, assuming you used his NP. And then End of a Dream can't really go into effect. But otherwise, you can't even order change them out with like a plug suit. There is no way to get rid of the unit once they are bricked. So this is a only use it in case of emergency type deal. It's basically use it when you know you're going to kill the enemy, if you do. Otherwise, don't use it because you risk bricking the unit. It's great. It's basically one of the game's most powerful damage amplification effects. Just, you have to be really careful about when and how you time this. And I guarantee you, at least one point of this run, I will use this skill inappropriately. Or at minimum, I will use this skill and fail to kill the enemy. So it's just something you've got to learn to come to grips with. You can see cooldowns, definitely not the greatest here, but we can certainly get that down. But yeah, this is why, like, Oberon is insanely good. He is also insanely dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So it is an interesting and new tool. But now, yes, this account literally has two 50% chargers. Technically, it has a 50% charger and a 70% charger now with Oberon. What does this mean? This means if I have an effective damage dealer, I can take a third support. That third support can be another 50% damage dealer, which means we can probably brute force a lot of things. So yeah, this account, I'm not going to say this account is made, but this account can basically brute force a lot. With two 50% meta supports, you can take a friend support a lot of the time. The reason I suggest 3, you can't take a friend support every time. There are some instances in the game where you're just not going to be able to take your friend, and you're going to have to rely on your own account's strength. That's going to make things difficult, and that's going to mean that you can't just rely on a friend to carry you. So that's where, like, having 3 50% supports yourself is good, because then you can still brute force things even without your friend. But it's more of a, like, once you get to 2, your account is in a much better position. Getting to 3, that's just gravy. So yeah, this is really, really good. Unfortunately, there is not a whole lot I can do with this account stuck in the event at the time. But this should really just make it pretty easy for this account to progress. Now, the other thing I can do here is I can start to level Yarandu here, aka Nocnaria. Keep in mind, she has the 2 times efficiency for experience. So, like, you can see only 28 levels from 2 embers is pretty insane. So I have to be really cautious of procs here. The other thing is the game will warn me when I try to level her up, saying it is a temporary unit. The reason for this is because I have not made this unit permanent yet, because I have not beaten the event. So technically what I'm doing is dangerous, because it's possible I couldn't beat the event. I'm going to tell you I would make that happen. Usually you just have to complete the story of the event to force a welfare that is released in their event to become permanent for you. But if not, she will eventually come back in the Evocation Festival probably next year. I'd have to double check. But yeah, looks like that's enough to get her up to 40. I don't know if I have enough to ascend her yet. I usually get rid of units sometimes. Oberon's 3rd skill? Yeah, you can do it. It's just like, sometimes it's not fast. So it puts a taunt on a unit when you do that. Okay, we actually do have one of her enhancing materials. So again, welfares have unique enhancement materials. You get them from doing the event usually. You guys have seen the Evocation Festival side of things. We're showing you this is how you actually, like, progress a welfare that you get during an event. The other weird part is welfares, when you ascend them, don't ever change outfits. Not really sure why. It's just FGO's way of skimping. They just don't really ever, like, do too much for the welfares, unfortunately. I guess they figure it's like, hey, it's a free unit. Don't complain. Again, welfares are usually pretty good, so it's not, like, absurd that they do that. But I definitely am one of the people in the community that wishes they would do a little bit more with the welfares, because it would just make the game pop off a little bit more when they release one. Sometimes the game forces you to ascend the welfare to progress, so the warning's annoying. You're not wrong. I kind of hate it too, but it is what it is. So you can see it does tell you too, like, oh hey, here's the time limit. Here's how long you have basically to make the unit permanent. But usually not too big of a deal. Yep, that's enough right there. I guess we'll do that. I probably should be burning these silver embers because Lord knows this account needs mana prisms, but mana prisms are probably a pretty insurmountable task for this account until we get to a lotto. That just is the way things work in this game. There's nothing you can do about that. Mana prisms are always going to be a little bit in the eye of the beholder in that sense. Speaking of which, we can actually go look and see how much we have. Again, my advice, buy the tickets from the shop. That's usually the big thing that you want to get. There are these ley line stones, these blue cubes, blue prisms, as you'll hear people call them. They're nice, but what these are is these are a crystallized form of your command seals. So it's just a, would you like to continue? Would you like to go on again and full revive the party? It's really good if you get stuck on story. My advice, don't use them if you don't have to. You'll save yourself some mana prisms. Sometimes you'll get them for free. Like, for instance, you can see I already just hold 6 because the game has just given them to me. So, not that big of a deal. But, in general, I usually try to prioritize certain things from the shop. I actually have 1290 right now, so I could potentially start buying some stuff. In general, I think, like, early priority is the summon tickets. By far the most. From there, you can start going after foes if you want, or you could start maybe trying to pick up some of the, like, craft essences that you could maybe unlock. So, again, something like Golden Sumo might be really useful. You can see this one is increase your attack by 10% and 30% in P charge. Actually 15% attack up and 50% in P charge at MLB. So get 5,000 mana prisms, getting Golden Sumo online. Really good for this account. Absolutely fantastic. There will be another batch of these CEs coming out, and this is just going to kind of keep happening. In the second batch, I believe we get Holy Night Supper, which is another really good one. So there's some good stuff to get, but yeah, it's why I say, like, mana prisms are almost this, like, insurmountable issue for new accounts at this point in time. And actually what we can do too, I believe I've qualified for it. No. Maybe. Hold on. Okay, we can unlock Chaldea Lunchtime. You can see this is what it's telling us. It doesn't cost us any rare prisms because we're far enough in the story at this point to unlock it without there being a cost. This is a newer feature on NA. And so you can see it's basically just telling you, it's like, hey, you can only perform this exchange once. This basically unlocks the CE so that you can purchase it. You can only purchase up to 5 copies of it, which is unfortunate because people would definitely abuse that, myself included. If you have already exchanged mana prisms for the craft test, the number of copies available will reflect that. So in other words, if you had only bought like 2 before and then it became unavailable because you didn't have enough, you can only buy 3 then when you re-unlock it. So, the good thing to understand is once you unlock it from the rare prism shop, it is permanently unlocked. It will not expire after that point. So you don't have to worry about, like, it coming back at any point. And Mona Lisa here is the other one we're going to unlock. So this is, I don't really have the capability of buying these right now. And frankly speaking, they're not worth it unless you can MLB. Because the way normal craft essence works, and actually just to quickly show you here, if you saw Golden Sumo, for instance, Golden Sumo in the Mana Prism shop, if you look at it, has 10% attack and 30% in P charge. And it goes to 50% and 15%. So basically, like 2/3 of the CE are already just baked into the first copy. So buying that first copy is arguably the most important, but in some cases, MLBing it is ideal and or necessary. Why do I say that? Well, most CEs work like this, like how Golden Sumo does, where, again, the majority of the CE is just already there for you from the first copy. Getting the 5th copy is what then kind of unlocks the remaining, like, anywhere from, like, 20 to 33% of the CE. DaVinci Shop CEs, though, don't work that way. What do I mean? Well, let's look at Mona Lisa. The amount of QP that you obtained is increased by 2%. Fun fact, if you MLB Mona Lisa, this becomes 10%. So DaVinci Shop Cs work in the inverse. You get 1/5 of the value from the first 4 CEs that you get. That is to say, until you get the 5th CE, this does not change. You will still only ever get 2%. So you could combine 3 copies with the base copy, aka having 4 copies, and you'd still only have a 2% value. Technically, you could keep them separate and get more that way, but it's not really worth. So to me, the DaVinci Shop Cs are only worth it if you can MLB, because once you MLB, boom, there you go. That's 10% QP gained. That's valuable. 2%, not too much. 10%, hell yeah. Actually good. So this is something to denote that, yes, you can definitely piecemeal it. You can go at it one at a time, but to me, just forge your mana prisms. Don't get baited. Don't sit there and buy like everything out of the monthly shop. Like I said, generally that's how you want to conduct yourself. But yeah, so now they're in here and they're going to act as a little bit of a reminder every time I come in here of like, oh yeah, hey, Chaldea Lunchtime and Mona Lisa are here. I probably need to work towards these. So this is also serving to foil me from just going like, ha ha ha, let me just click these. You might not have that issue. I have that issue for my main account because my main account, instead of having 1,000 mana prisms, has almost 500,000 mana prisms. So anytime I see button monkey brain activate and I click, you're not going to have that issue because as a newer player, it's very difficult to get mana prisms on your account. And there's a ton you need to buy. So, and Greenleaf Child, thank you for the prime. So again, this is just kind of the way to look at things, kind of the way to balance your stuff. It's usually what I do if I'm trying to kind of strategize what to purchase and how, and like how I want to go about it. Okay. That's the best I can give you, the best advice as to like how to progress. Now, with regards to an event, this is technically a summer event, so it's not altogether like normal, but you usually have event currencies. Some, you'll even have a mission event. This event is both, but you'll usually have an event shop. And the event shop is going to have multiple things in it, including if you have missions, you'll have mission rewards. As you can see, there's some nice stuff in mission rewards. I've already gotten some of them. These are just the completed ones I've done. But you can see there's other locked things like copies of the craft essence, evocation leaves, gold foes, ascension mats, various things that you'll find in your event shop. Okay, all of that's going to be done performatively. So as you do things in the event, you can see, oh, get 600 emotional stakes as a battle drop. Some of the stuff you'll just do naturally over the course of the event. A lot of people get really concerned. Raise the welfare to bond 3. That's not difficult. Put them in the party 10 times. Not difficult. So like most of this is pretty straightforward and you'll just naturally complete. Then there's the proper event shop where you will use your currencies that you get from the event to buy items. These right here are actually costumes. So skins in effect for units that are in the game. Like for instance, you can see here, this is the Noble Son of Summer for Gawain. This is Gawain's summer outfit. Males have a tendency to get summer outfits every year. Females get just a whole new unit. Don't ask me why FGO does it that way. It's just kind of always done it that way. In fact, in the early days, males didn't even get summer outfits, so it is what it is. But again, this is just kind of how things go, but you're going to use these materials to buy certain things like event CEs that help you out during the event. Usually these are your priority. Whenever you go into an event, look at the craft essence, look at what it does. If it's a drop CE, odds are you need it. If it's a damage bonus CE, depending on your account strength, you may or may not need it. In general, people will tell you just go ahead and buy the CEs because they are unique to the event. You can't get them really any other way otherwise. FGO has started to add some old event CEs back, but don't count on them being consistent with that or with them making them all available. So they're probably just not going to be thorough. But either way, yes, get the CEs from the shop. That's usually your first priority. From there, you'll see other things like, for instance, this is welfare. Nocnaria's how should I put it, ascension mat. So like getting these is also important. You can see we could buy these. This would probably be good to being able to level her up. Evocation leaves can definitely help you out if you're a new account. Usually on my main account, these are the last things I buy because I would 10 times rather get the ascension mats on the cheap. So if I'm worried about like completing an event on time or maybe not having enough time to play the event, I'm going to prioritize things that matter most. So usually rare stuff like crystallized lores, bond grails, welfare, craft essences, all of that gets purchased first. Then my ascension mats. They are usually next because there's just a ton of them out here. There'll be some for your bronze currency, some for your silver currency, and some for your gold currency. And currencies can just be gotten no matter what. This event's a little weird. There's actually 2 sets of currencies because these are the Dojin currencies, which are used to level up the Dojin circles. It's a unique mechanic specific to this event. These are your main shop currencies that just appeared right there. But yeah, that's going to be kind of how things are going to go. So you'll see different currencies. If you follow a guide, it'll be pretty easy. You could also usually check out my videos. I usually go over an event before it comes out on NA. But in general, events are usually not too hard to follow. You'll kind of be on rails a little bit trying to progress through the story of the event. I recommend reading the stories to events. They're not phoned in. They're always like actually pretty interesting because that is the main attraction of FGO. Nasu writes a lot of stuff, particularly this event. Nasu actually wrote this event himself. And if not, one of the writers under him usually writes stuff. So they're usually very, very good stories and usually well worth your time, though sometimes they take a lot of time to read. But again, that's usually what I prioritize there. From there, you have other things like your embers, your foes. These are also really good to get, but they're usually next for me after the ascension mats. And then last but not least is like evocation festival leaves. That's usually what I get there at the end because still good to get them. But my main account, for instance, has all welfares. So I just leave it till last because it's not as big of a deal. For a new account, if this is like the make or break between you getting something out of the welfare shop that could really help you in the event, prioritize it by all means. You don't have to feel bad about that. But in general, it's probably a good idea to just leave this till last and get the things that are a little bit more time sensitive and more lucrative for you. Evocation leaves can be gotten via other means, so that's one of the reasons why. Code removers, never, ever buy these. They are not worth. Absolutely not. You don't even need one. They are completely defunct in the game. They used to be used for removing command codes. You literally don't need them anymore. You can just remove a command code without them. Honestly, I don't know why they exist in the game. I've seen other people be like, oh, it returns you the QP. It doesn't. There's a whole lot of like misinformation on these things. They don't do jack shit for you. They are not worth your currency. Don't even bother purchasing them. Unless like you're just swimming in event currency, you have nothing else to spend it on at the end of the event. And even then, the better use is usually at the end of an event, you can convert things into QP. That is still a better use than buying code removers. Code removers are never, ever, 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 ever worth. Just don't buy them. Again, I don't know why they're still in the game. The devs are just weird about this particular thing. Just trust me, it's a new player trap. Don't touch it. How to fast farm mana prisms? Is it time gated? Yeah. Mana prisms are kind of difficult to actually farm. How some people would tell you is they'd tell you to go farm silver embers for kind of AP efficiency, but that's really not that good. So it's usually just better to kind of do your thing and do your dailies every single day, and you'll be getting some that way. Also, whenever you roll now in the actual quartz gacha, you'll get some. But besides that, yeah, it's not really an easy thing to farm. The big influx that people usually get is from lottery events. There are usually 25 per box, and that means you can get a ton. So, like, for instance, I'm somebody that likes to do like 500 boxes. So 500 times 25, how much I might get from a lotto. So just a ton, right? Compared to however much I might get from some other thing. So it gets difficult, though. And you just need a ton. So to me, it's mana prisms are actually one of the biggest complaints I have in the game right now. And I think the devs need to do something about it for new players specifically. Because us old veterans, we have absolute butt tons of them. We have everything purchased because we purchased it as it came out. And we're still sitting on hordes of mana prisms. Whereas new players have nothing purchased and need to purchase everything in order to catch up. Next lottery, yeah, next lottery is winter. We usually get 2 lottery events a year. They have a tendency to be summer and winter, though there are exceptions to this. For instance, the traditional timing has actually been after anniversary, which is kind of fallish, and then the actual Christmas event. We do sometimes get summer ones, and we do sometimes get spring ones, but usually the general thing is 2 per year. So, and the Christmas one is almost always one of them. I buy them because I like clear shop. No. I mean, you can do that if you want. I'm not going to advise new players to do it because, again, this is the epitome of a new player trap. I really wish they'd just remove them from the game. They need to remove code removers. Or convert them into something that actually does something. But as it is right now, they don't do anything. They were just an old holdover until we got a quality of life, and now that we have the quality of life, they are completely defunct. If there's some use for them come Annie 10, I'd be happy. It'd definitely bail out the people that have been buying them, but I think they would also deeply upset the people that haven't. So I'm not sure that they would actually do something like that. Chat. I'm going to go ahead, turn in early. I'm actually kind of tired because today was the first day back at work. But we did accomplish all of our goals for stream. I walked you guys through the new player account. We literally got to roll. We got to do the event. And I cannot explain how lucky it is. But I'm going to send you guys over to Mr. Danger Creamy. He is on. He is doing the FGO stuff. I believe he is starting the event as well. Again, go give that man some love. Tomorrow, I have a collab with Mr. Fox for us. We're going to be rolling for UDK Barcast together. Hope to see you guys for that. Should be a very interesting stream nonetheless. Again, thank you guys for all the support. Go give Mr. Creamy my love, and I will see you all for the next one.